sorry about that. I had to restart. I don't know what the hell happened, but I wasn't getting the signal out to YouTube or something. I think we are now because people are talking. You sure can, man, but I'm gonna have to give you a wrench over here. It's hard for me to give wrenches. Name redacted. Moderator. Okay. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's No Rules Sunday on UNIRock. So basically, it's a tired meme. It's just one of those tired memes. No, No Rules Sunday is a pretty cool thing because it's where I do what I want to do all day when I stream. So, oh, do I have good stuff for you? I've been inside of a rabbit hole for like days, okay? Thanks to some stuff I guess I brought up on accident. Let me try to give you a little bit of a... I don't know. Let me kind of tell you what happened or what's going on or whatever. Okay. So I started going down a rabbit hole of the New York... Oh my god, I forgot about those. I started going down a rabbit hole of the New York City lights. Blue lights. Or how about this one too? Let me do this one. New York blue lights. There we go. Yay. I started going down the rabbit hole of the whole thing that happened in New York City. And if you were watching me last night, which I was shocked because last night's show was demonetized and it got a bunch of views for being demonetized. Usually when I'm demonetized, I don't get any views, barely any views on a video. It's really weird. So pretty cool stuff. Thanks, y'all. You guys rock. You freaking are awesome. So anyway, I'm kind of treading new... Oh god, am I starting already? I don't even know if we've had any notifications go out, because I only reason people are showing up is because I told you on Discord. So I don't know what's up, man. Some days I get notifications out the wazoo. Other days I can't get a notification to save my life. So we went diving into the NPC for the last few days, looking at basic conspiracy tropes and how they're played out and used by some people to make a bunch of money off YouTube. And during my dive down that rabbit hole, several channels kept being sent to me by you guys. As you know, I looked at Richie from Boston. I accidentally popped into John X Army, not saying anything bad about him because I haven't looked into John a lot, and I'd like to talk to the man. He seems like one of those guys who would actually come talk to me and be open and be cool, instead of like, you know, me trying to reach out to anyone else and they'll just ignore me, you know? So I'm not going to judge John until I try to talk to him. But anyway, John's name kept coming up just because he like shouts out Richie a lot. And then I saw Davey Crocco's show where he was shouting out Richie. And I'm not saying it's bad to shout out Richie, and I'm not saying it's bad to like Richie from Boston. But, oh my, am I going to get in some trouble? What'd we get? We get a dono already. You guys, is that Divine Frequency? Drum and bass for the win. Bows, exit stage left. I love you. Thank you, my friend. You are so awesome. If you're not subscribed to Divine Frequency, what are you doing? I'm going to try to talk Divine Frequency into having, like, to stream with me on some subjects in the future. So the theme of tonight's show is science versus religion. And I've got a very unique point of view on this subject because I went to YouTube to try to find other people that have the same view as me on this subject, and I couldn't find that many of them. Interestingly, I thought Jeranism agreed with me because I literally heard if you don't know who Jeranism is, just grab some popcorn and sit back because it's going to be a crazy ride tonight. But Jeranism, I thought he agreed with me, and the reason is because he literally said with his face hole that he delved into science as an atheist and realized, what in the, oh, it's duct tape. I had something touching my leg and I'm like, what is that shit? It's the duct tape. This whole studio is filled with duct tape. You could just be walking through and all of a sudden the big duct tape snake bites your leg, dude. I'm dead serious. It's insane. Shut up, Busy. I am not arguing with you until later in the stream, or I will not get anything done. As you know, I have an assistant. His name's Busy. You can say hello if you want. He said hello. He said many other things I don't want to try to translate for you because it's very, it'll demonetize me right off the bat. Thanks, Biz. Back to what I was saying, though. So Jeranism said that he was an atheist that delved into science and was going to prove to people that there is no God and that he could prove it with science. And that's basically my story. I started out diving into science through studying DNA and the sky, you know, the astronomological sky. I'm just being silly right now. I like trying to bait trolls, if you didn't know. Everything that's evolved from my show is evolved from trolls, like the MK Ultra microphone. A troll tried to tell me that I was using my graphics to brainwash my viewers, so I made an MK Ultra microphone and started brainwashing you with the microphone. Literally and figuratively, as it seems. Anyway, shut up, UNIRock. Get back to the show here. So what I was saying is I did the same thing as Jeranism. I was going to try to get my family to wake up, some members of my family to wake up to the fact that that atheism is the way things are, and that it's better to just realize it now. But that was the old me, because I believe in God now, and I'm very spiritual. In fact, you couldn't convince me that there is not a God without some like really good evidence, because as I delved deeper into DNA and the sky and other parts of science, I realized that the universe does prove God. And then I realized it's more of a perception, but I'm going to try to explain all that tonight. My point is, though, right after Jeranism said that, he went off the freaking deep end, y'all. He started saying that every scientist is out to lie to us and out to get us. And there's not a good scientist out there who knows what he's talking about, because they're all trying to lie, and NASA's lying, and we're all in a computer-generated reality, which I would argue that could be a true statement, but he's saying for a fact we're in a computer-generated reality because of some stuff that some physicists said. And then I wanted to pose the question to Jeranism. Oh shit, son, what happened to my live stream? Did it go out? Can you guys see me? Hold up. Let me make sure I'm still streaming. I just had a big hiccup in my playback window. Oh, I'm here. Okay. Then I had this huge question for Jeranism. If you don't trust any scientists, what's making you trust this physicist about that simulation theory? Do you see the hypocrisies that evolve if you are trying to convince people of things online? So welcome to UNIRock. This is the channel where I'm not going to try to convince you of anything other than that things are not as they seem. It's more complicated than what they say. And who is the they? Well, it's more than you thought, because it's not just the mainstream media. There are conspiracy theorists who also want you to believe basically off of no facts or logic whatsoever. And thus, through my show for the last 2 years, I've been showing that the conspiracy theorists on YouTube who purport to be woke are really just as asleep as the mainstream media, reporters, and peoples who try to convince you of things themselves. Because in a world where nothing is certain, well, I know there's certain things in the world, damn it. Don't nitpick with me. You're sounding like Busy now. But in a world where you can't prove certain things, certain major things, like whether there's a God or not, in that world, isn't it just as bad as the media to sit over here and tell us that you know for a fact that chemtrails are being done purposely by the government without having any type of factual knowledge behind? See there, that was just one example. How about that the earth is flat because of a few little facts and because of your distrust for the mainstream system? So my point is, what should we believe? What shouldn't we believe? I do believe it's up to us as individuals to start live shows, to look at what's out there and try to figure it out. That's what we're doing here. That's what that entire basis of my show, UNIRock, is that's what it is on both channels. Basically, you can say this: we take any subject, filter it through a logical mind, try to identify the facts that show what is true about it, the facts that show what is fake about it, and the stuff in the middle that's circumstantial, so that you can get a better understanding of what's going on around you. And we do it together as a team. And I haven't said this in a while, so it's probably better that I do explain my show sometimes. Why not on a No Rules Sunday? Because that's all you can do, guys. Now, I am the, how do I put it? I'm the guy that no one will debate. I've had several challenges that I accepted, that I live streamed sitting and waiting on them for days, and they would never come. Unless, of course, it was like on some platform where that automatically mutes you after 10 seconds and lets the audience vote for who wins or something like that. Because it's about who wins, it's not about the information, which, in my opinion, is still backing down. What I'm trying to say is they won't debate me because I'm armed with information from doing this for 2 years to show you exactly what I've just said. The 99% of the people on YouTube who hit start on a video or on a live stream and try to tell you something are just trying to sway you a certain way so they can get that hardcore cash from the ad revenue, the donations, and Patreon. Speaking of which, I also take PayPal donations, Patreon donations. You can join my channel next to the subscribe button. How hypocritical of me to take donations while complaining about other people that do it, right? No, because the donations that come into the show only help me run the show. I'm not telling you things like, you know, that if you donate to me, I'm going to unveil the truth about chemtrails without doing a bit of scientific work whatsoever. If you donate to me, I'm going to reveal the truth of the flat earth without ever doing any type of real work at all. I'm just going to show you some YouTube videos and challenge NASA on some stuff that they've put out. Or how about an anonymous leaker on 8chan? I'm just going to tell you that this guy has the best knowledge ever and that you can prove him due to hand gestures and pencils that are on desks. And if you try to say that there is evidence against any of the stuff I've just named, you're a troll and you're a shill. Well, when I started out with 100 subscribers, they could use that excuse. Who cares what he says? He's just a shill. He's just a little guy out there. But as I have slayed many LARPs like a knight fighting a massive dragon, chopping the head off and carrying it back to his damsel in distress and showing her the dragon's head as it drips blood everywhere. So many LARPs I have slain. Tonight, I hope to slay some more, or at least show you that things are not as they seem, not just about the topics that these YouTubers talk about, but the YouTubers themselves. God, you're a dickhead, UNIRock. Why don't you just leave them alone? Leave those guys alone. Let them make their $100,000 a year and get donos like crazy and continue to lie to people. Just let them do it. Don't challenge them with logical thought whatsoever. Who are you? Are you some kind of, you're right, you're always right, man, blah, 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 blah. That's the NPC talking, right? Because in our reality, I'm not insulting anyone. Every single person that I have criticized, I was fair and balanced and have brought you facts and good points, good criticisms against them. And I'm going to keep doing that today without insulting anyone other than the one YouTuber who I have continued to call a zombie for a very long time. And I promise you, and I've kept this word to my subscribers, and I will never go back on it. I will never stop calling him a zombie because he is a zombie. I don't want to lie to you. He's a freaking zombie. He deserved it. He called me names first. It's actually just it's like this metaphorical workaround that I use to be able to call him silly names because he was calling me disgusting, vile things that he couldn't prove. Even though he told you all he was going to drop the bombshell and prove it a week later and never did. Anyway, welcome to No Rule Sunday. I'm at my UNIRock silliest, so I hope you're ready. I'm allowed to be silly on a Sunday, man. No Rule Sunday, dude. That's when the comedy and the funniness and the happy streams come out. That's what this is for, so let's get pumping. Here we go. DJ Genki made a great statement. In the science community, it's sliding by. In the science community, nobody cares if you're religious or not. We just care if you bring it in the lab where it doesn't apply to evidence or experiment. And Divine Frequency says, silly Sunday for the win, drum and bass out. Lone Wolf, been doing some research. The QTubers keep talking about 63K sealed indictments and how they're going to Gitmo. Gitmo only has room for 619 detainees. To talk about expansions is total BS. Very true, my friend. Very true. We have debunked that whole Q shit so many times. It doesn't even have a leg to stand on. And the letter Q does only have one leg, right? That's what that little thing is. Uh-oh. Wait, it's not something else sticking out, is it? Okay, so we're about to dive into the NPC, but be careful, because in the last few days, I've made some NPCs very NPC salty. Get it? Sea salt? We started in the NPC yesterday, and now all the NPCs are salty. Holy shit balls. That's funny, UNIRock. Thank you. I made the picture all by myself. And then I carried it into UNIRage and said, can I hang this on the refrigerator? And she said, no, stop it. Get out of here. I'm just kidding. She liked it, actually. Okay, now, I got to update you on Mr. RFBegone. Or what did I call it? What's my nickname for the guy? I swear to God, I tweeted it out a picture. I swear I tweeted it out a picture earlier today. Don't tell me I got to go find the damn thing again. Now, that was from yesterday. 7 hours ago. 8 hours. Hey! Dodge. I love you, man. Thanks for the dono. I'm broke, so every dono you're giving me is going to help a lot. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. So anyway, I had some comments and some emails, and I wanted to show them to you. If I can't find them, I have them on my damn phone, but I know I tweeted those suckers out, dude. I know I tweeted them out. What the fuckity, bro? What's going on here? Oh, hold up. Yeah, it's not there. So I had some comments on some videos. One was from Kev Baker, and it was about Richie from Boston. And since we talked about Richie yesterday, and of course I'm not trying to be mean to Richie, I'm just making valid criticisms of the man. I wish he would come on my show and talk about it, for God's sakes. But I don't think he's the kind of guy that would, honestly. He's very quick to call people a shill, if you know what I'm saying. A lot. We just got a $10 dono from Name. Show that love for all the hard work Uni does, and hit the like button, share, or donate if finances allow. Every show of support, it helps keep our guy online. Well, thanks, man. That's the truest comment I've had in a while, man, but thank you so much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up Kev's comment on my phone because I saved it as a picture, and I'm going to read it to you. It is shocking, surprising, and I believe every freaking word of it. Are you going to? Let's see. Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Found it. Hold up. Pulling it up now. Okay, I need to go to my file. What the front? No, you know the front door, man. Okay, here we go. I got it. Loading now. Yep, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so yesterday I dissected a Richie from Boston video because I felt that he was being ironic and hypocritical with his assessment of what happened in New York. And I also have gone further down the Richie from Boston rabbit hole. It's not a pretty place to be, I'll just tell you now, because a lot of it is, let's say this. When I started looking at Richie, I felt like I was listening to Jarenism. And I'm not being mean to Jaren or Richie. I'm just being honest. So many people, here's what I think's going on. Busy, will you pause it for this speech? This is a serious speech. I want to make a serious speech. I had to clear my throat. Okay, here comes the serious speech. I am not trolling the people that I'm talking about. I am criticizing them. I go through many links, regardless of the fact that I try to keep my show funny and have fun while we're here. It is a topic that kind of sucks because I do see Jaren and Richie as other human beings with feelings and trying to do something good on their channel. But I do think that us criticizing each other as YouTubers is a necessary thing. I think it helps drive, like when the few times that people have criticized me, now I say that because yes, there are a lot of videos out there trying to expose me, but none of them have evidence. And most of all of them just call me names and put me down because they don't like how my show looks, or they try to make fun of my beard or something like that. So, that's why I'm, pushing those off the table. I don't look at, just like people would criticize me or put me down. If I did insult the people I criticize, I'm not going to take serious the people out there who are insulting me instead of, criticizing, especially the ones that lie and make shit up and try to, you know, obviously are doing it for their subscribers. And I'll use one man as an example. He's an Aussie, and he gets so mad at me because I call him an Aussie. I don't know why. I think he told me to call him an Aussie or some shit, so I'll just call him an Aussie. But there's this one dude who's an Aussie, and hey, it was in his comments. I'm not like, you know, it's not me being rude or something. I love people from Australia. One of my longest supporters is from Australia, Mr. Nuts. He's cool as hell. But anyway, there was an Aussie who had a YouTube channel who kept saying that I was protecting certain group of bad guys because I was criticizing people that were whistleblowing about those bad guys. And look, if you're going to go to YouTube and do something, you can damn well bet you're going to get A, criticized, and B, trolled. And in order, you know, that's why I always say, when you see someone makes a video on you, if they are criticizing you with some legit points, take it seriously. But if they're trolling you, just end the video, just skip on by. So anyway, if you see a video out there criticizing me, then send it to me and let me know this person's not trolling me, they're actually criticizing me. And I will watch it. I will respond to it, but I'm not going to feed the trolls, just so you know. Okay, back to the, this is very important. This is a very important statement because what I'm about to say is going to, a lot of people are going to not trust Richie from Boston after I make this next statement. Now, I trust Kev Baker more than I would trust just about anyone else out there. And I trust him because for months and months and months and months, ever since I've met the guy, he has done everything in his power to help other people on YouTube and off the platform. He has been as fair as I've ever seen anyone be. And he has been, he tries to do what I try to do, where he doesn't insult others. He criticizes, he rolls with the punches. If somebody trolls him, he he turns it into something funny and stuff. He doesn't really let it affect him. And he's just he's an overall really positive person, and he makes a positive impact on his radio show and on his YouTube channel. So I respect Kev. He's not made any crazy claims. He gives people a fair shot when they come on his show. He's honest about his spirituality while still trying to be skeptical and realistic, and that's why I trust him very much. Now, Kev has said this about Richie for a while, and I'm inclined to believe it, but I will reserve. You know, I'm not telling you that I'm going to go around and like blow him up on it or something like that. I would just like him to respond to this. But Kev Baker says this, Richie from Boston, and I'm going to leave out the first sentence, Kev. You can let me know if you want me to say it later and I'll add it in. When approached by a multi-channel network, which by the way, are you a YouTuber? Do you have over 5,000 subscribers? Well, if you do, you're going to get approached by multi-channel networks all the time. My advice to you, do not sign shit, son. Because yes, if you do sign up with a multi-channel network, you're most likely going to get more views on your video. It's all good, Kev? Okay, I'll go ahead and read the first sentence. If you do sign up with a multi-channel network, you're most likely going to get more views, you're going to grow faster and all that. But you're going to give a lot of your ad revenue to that network. Now hold the front door. Does that mean that signing with a multi-channel network is a bad thing? No. It's just like with YouTube. Teaming up with other YouTube channels to do content is a great thing, but there's people you don't want to team up with. Go look at 6 months ago on my channel. I was being approached by all kinds of freaking shills that were trying to team up with me. Anyway, the multi-channel networks out there, some of them are good companies and some of them are bad. The number of bad companies compared to the number of good companies, you know, there's a million bad ones compared to 100 good ones. That's why I always say, do not sign anything and make sure you pay the money to go do a sit down for an hour. It would cost you a couple $100 with a lawyer and read that entire paper before you would ever consider signing an MCN. Now, luckily, there's a way to prove if you're an MCN or not. I did it a couple weeks ago, and I know other people that have done it since I did it. And I encourage people, if they want to do that, to do that. But here's my thing. You shouldn't be ashamed if you're in a multi-channel network unless you're in one of the unscrupulous ones. And I think that most of the multi-channel network talk that we hear on YouTube about shills and stuff like that, I think it comes from more of a place where people in a truth community who act like they're not working with other people, they're not part of a company, and they're just a regular person, I'm just a dude. It's really strange to see that person in a multi-channel network without being open about it, right? Because you're not just a dude if your presence on YouTube is working for a company. But that's not multi-channel networks now. It's just some multi-channel networks. Some of them just seek to help protect you from copyright claims and take a small portion of your ad revenue while helping you grow your channel and promoting you. But others want to take a large portion of your ad revenue and force you to say and do certain things, force you to react certain ways. So, like I've said a million times over, I'm not insinuating that Richie is an overall bad guy by saying multi-channel network. And I'm also not going to say that all multi-channel networks are horrible, because Tipster was in a good multi-channel network for a long time. And luckily, they dumped him, and his channel blew up after he left his multi-channel network, and now he gets to keep every dime of his ad revenue from it. So it worked out good for Tipster. Anyway, I'll go into that in another time or date or something. Once again, I want to reiterate, I'm not telling you not to join a multi-channel network, because it could be the best thing that ever happened to your channel. Just make sure you're upfront with your subscribers, talk to them about it, and let them know what's going on is my thing. Okay, so here we go. So Kev left me this comment, and he actually had another comment that was similar to this on a different video that said pretty much the same thing. Richie from Boston is a paid shill. When approached by a multi-channel network, they showed me that his channel, Lisa Haven, and Next News Network, a person named Gary Franchi, I don't know who that is, I'll have to look him up, and use them as an example of how I could have 100,000 subs, which the MCN would pay for. Nothing he says is worthy of people's time. Thank you, Dodger. Oh, sorry, it turned off. Thank you, Dodger. People need to wake up to these idiots. That was not me stating that, but I would like to know if that's true or not. So there's only one way to really tell, because Kev himself would have to, I'm sorry, Kev. Richie himself would have to show if he is a member of a multi-channel network. So what's strange about the 3 people that he named there? And what's strange about that multi-channel network that Kev named? Now, if you don't know who Kev Baker is, I stated a little bit about him a minute ago, but he's on Truth Frequency Radio, and he has a YouTube channel where he's posted for a very long time and slowly made his way up to almost 100,000 subs. I'd have to see if he's up to it by now or not, but last time I checked, he wasn't. What I'm saying is, you know, Kev doesn't have explosive growth or explosive views or anything like that, but we've been wrestling with this quandary, right? Is a quandary a good word? Busy? Did I just make up a word? Oh, that's a word? What's it mean? Oh, I used it in the correct context? Well, shit, I wanted to put it inside of the dictionary, but I guess I can't. Anyway, back to what I was saying. What's strange about this multi-channel network is that they're promising to buy subscribers for you so that your channel can take off, right? Then you ask yourself, what's going on with those 3 people named, right? Well, they all do the same thing Richie does, but in a different context, right? I'd have to look at Next News Network. I want to make sure I got the right guy in my head, right? But then again, so, you know, that shouldn't be something that your MCN wants to do for you. They shouldn't be guaranteeing you 100,000 subs that they pay for, not you, and shit like that. And wouldn't that explain just a little bit in this equation? Is it proof? Is it evidence? It's not. It's Kev's claiming it. It would be really strange to me if Kev Baker, being on the internet for all this time, would just come out and make, you know, the one claim that he makes just is something simple like that, you know? If Kev was gonna lie about a claim, he'd say something big so he could get a bunch of views and shit out of it. But that's the thing. Kev wouldn't do that anyway, because he has never done that on YouTube. He's always done good content. I am inclined to believe Kev. So the question then we have to ask ourselves is, do you believe Kev's story? Because you don't know Kev like I do, and I respect you if you don't. And do you think that there is something behind certain channels having growth on their channels when they team up with certain people? In fact, though, I'm inclined to think that's happening all over YouTube, especially when you notice how, remember that video we saw yesterday at the end of the video about martial law and Q and all that shit? They had listed several YouTubers. Now, you recall that every time that group of people list a new YouTuber, that YouTuber grows by thousands of subscribers, right? What I'm saying is, it starts to make sense. Now, another thing is, It's kind of a known thing on YouTube that a long time ago, now we're talking before I even started YouTube, so it must have been like early 2016 or 2015, there was this little bit of an outrage over certain channels buying subs to get over 100,000 subscribers because they knew that back then on YouTube, when the algorithm wasn't as tight, monetization was just, you just basically applied and you got it. They never really cared. They would give it to anyone that wanted to have it. Back then, you know, if you had 100,000 subs and you were doing certain kind of videos, you could pretty much get a lot of views. Nowadays, though, there's like how many channels over 1 million? There's thousands of channels over 1 million, and back then there was like hundreds. So, you know, what I'm saying is the landscape of YouTube has changed, and I don't even know if you can buy subs now because YouTube goes on those things like that thing I showed you, and that blue bar that comes up when you log into your live show, it said, we are removing bot accounts and stuff like that on December 14th through the 16th, and everybody lost a couple hundred subs that day, you know. So basically, I don't think you can buy subs now, but wouldn't that make a lot of sense? Because you know what I saw today, and I know I'm talking a lot, but it's No Rule Sunday, so sorry. One other thing I saw today before we get into the actual video is I saw that there was like several channels that have millions of subscribers, and they don't even break 800 views, 1,000 views, 600 views. One was RT America. I was shocked because I used to look at RT years ago, and they would have hundreds of thousands of views on every video, and they've got 3-some million subscribers. I looked at RT today and saw that they only had like 800, 1,200, and it was from videos for days, but that had been out for days. How does that work? You're telling me there are 3.5 million people subscribed to RT America, right? And out of that many people, let's just say 10% weren't looking at their phone and saw a video from RT, and then you're telling me that just 1% of that 10% didn't just click to look at what it was? That is insane. So a lot of people are thinking what I'm thinking here. Like, what's going on with these big channels? And then what's going on with other channels out there having 8,000 subscribers but having millions of views on their accounts? It's almost like they get millions and millions of views, but they never gain subs. So there's so much weirdness going on YouTube. And I'm not going to go any further with the whole Richie thing, at least right now. We're going to actually look at a Richie from Boston video in a little bit. So let me get into my groove. Let me get jiving. Let's get this going, because I know I've got people here and you're all like, shut up and do the video, UNIRock. We're here for the video, dude. I know, I'm sorry. So today on UNIRock, the hottest show on YouTube that no one knows about, we've got the Non Sequitur show debating Jeranism, and I just could not keep it from my audience anymore. Non Sequitur, I'm going to play it under fair use. Please don't kill me. I'm going to help you get I helped you get subscribers a month ago, by the way, and I'm going to help you get some subscribers today. So don't strike me. I'm going to react to a Non Sequitur video, Aaron Raw and Jeranism Battlefield Flat Earth discussion, because there's a few little snippets of this thing that I think are interesting. We're going to go beyond the curve and see why there are certain people out there who continue to tell you that boats do not disappear behind a curve, like Taboo Conspiracy and Jeranism himself. Boats over the curve 100% debunked, which, by the way, Jaren, I watched this video and I'm about to show my subscribers this video. You did not debunk it. You lied to your viewers. People can literally see it with their eyes and ask, why are you lying, Jaren? Jaren, can I knock on the Jaren door for a minute? Jaren, why are you lying? Like, seriously, you watched the boat go over the curve of the earth, and Jaren says the boat didn't go over the curve of the earth. And then he makes fun of people that believe in the globe earth. Oh my God, it's frustrating. Back to what I was saying. So Red's rhetoric came back and said that boats over the curve is 100% confirmed. Then you're debunked and used the Jeranism video to do it. And it's an interesting battle, so we're going to look at it today. Then Wolfie6020, one of my favorite new YouTubers that just blew up, all these satellites are bad news for the flat earth. I'm going to look at this because everybody, even myself, when I started my live show, you remember there was a guy named Dark Wolf from Dark Wolf's Den YouTube channel, and he would always go live with me and like talk about stuff with me when we did our show, right? And we had so many of our viewers saying, we want you two to sit down and figure out the satellite question. Now, I eventually did figure out the satellite question. If you don't know what it is, so many people say, if there are so many satellites above the Earth, why don't we see more of them when rocket launches happen and other things? Well, I figured out the answer to the satellite question months and months and months ago, but we're going to bring it back up because of this great video. All of these satellites are bad news for flat Earth. Then we've got debunking 200 proofs for the flat Earth. Hey, Resurrection, thanks for subbing. Now I'm going to play this for you solely because of a piece in the video. I'm not playing it because I want to debunk flat Earth to you. I mean it. I've made sure, and I don't know why I get so many people mad at me because they say, well, you don't believe in the flat Earth and you've debunked the flat Earth. I know. That's me. I have. But if you believe in it, I have said in every one of my videos where flat Earth even comes up at all that I respect you if you believe in it. Okay? And I'm not just saying that to try to dodge criticism. I truly do. So please don't yell at me. This is just my show and I'm doing it my way. So let's move on. MC Tune, you haven't forgotten, have you? From Flat Out Hero. We've got updates to the Flat Out Saga, which is a video that I did months ago where Flat Out Hero challenged Wolfie6020 when he only had like 200 subs to prove him wrong on an experiment. Wolfie did it. Flat Out Hero didn't pay him the 100K that he promised, and Wolfie ended up gaining like 60 or 80,000 subscribers from it. I'm sure you remember the video, but Flat Out Hero did some pretty, let's just say comedic. Can we just look at Flat Out Hero as a comedy channel now? Because I've told you this whole time, I think he's trolling. But anyway, he's being comedic as hell with his new video. We're going to visit it in tonight's show. We're going to take a look at sun reflections on the Earth from Phuket Word, because he has some interesting things to say, and I want to kind of tell you about them. We got, right, yeah, we're going to hit disinfo campaigns infiltrating the blah, 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 blah. I don't know if we're going to actually hit that. I'm closing that. We might look at it later. We're going to look at New York City blue lights, Transformer explosion, or, well, you decide. This is a video that one of my viewers wanted me to watch yesterday, but with all the confusion and everything going on, I didn't get to it, so we're going to make sure that we get to it today. We're going to jump over here to mystery envelopes at the Bush funeral. Well, you guessed it. The Q community has a new conspiracy theory that envelopes at the Bush funeral prove that he's still alive and that he was executed and all this other crazy stuff, and that JFK Jr. was there dancing and dressed up as Santa Claus and a clown. So we're going to look at that, and then we're going to jump into more of this DEW, direct energy weapon, or DEW stuff that's been happening in the last few days since the Transformers exploded in New York, to try to round out the question, what really happened in New York City with the blue lights, and can we prove it? And I say to you that I have 100% affirmed and proven what happened in New York City, and I will do that for you in this video tonight. While we entertain a thought process throughout the entire show, you know I like to put a thought process throughout all my stuff and link it together with it. Science as a religion? Is that a thing? Is it science against religion, science versus religion, science as a religion? And who out there is trying to say that those things, that those two things are mutually exclusive? Well, we're going to go through all of that today in this live dive happening on a No Rules Sunday. It is December 30th of 28. Wait a minute. December 30th. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Oh, baby. On this December 30th of 2018, we're about to close up the year of the LARP on YouTube. Let's pray to God that 2019 does not become bigger than this year for LARPs, because it would be so fucking hard. It would be so hard for any more LARPs to get any bigger than they are now. So let's pray that we've had a freaking direct effect at battling these LARPs. But let's get into it right now. Thank you for being here. I'm UNIRock. My assistant Busy is chugging the whiskey, getting ready to argue with me and entertain you through the whole time. Welcome to the Rock. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, thanks, Biz. I tried really hard on that one.
Is the gun debate, and we will be doing that with S.J. Thompson and...
On a finite measurement?
On a globe?
On anything. Flat Earth, round Earth, the water would be level, right?
Water's level, correct.
Okay. And even on a globe, if we're only going to measure 6 to 8 inches of it, then water's going to be level, right?
Correct.
Okay. And it doesn't matter if you're in an airplane or on a mountain or on any part of the globe, it would still be level that few inches, right?
Okay, so one contested argument among science versus religion, science as a religion, science and religion, is this trending thing that's going on right now. It's a little different than what you think I might be saying. You're probably thinking I'm gonna say flat Earth. I'm not. I'm gonna say debunking the flat Earth. So here's what's up. As you and I both know, maybe since 2012 or maybe it was 2013, you'll have to correct me there. There was a YouTuber named Derek Dubay, and he blew up. He had a massive channel where he put out a new kind of flat Earth video, and it started like a flat Earth revolution. Honestly, many people started watching Eric's videos and believing in the flat Earth and dumping their beliefs in the globe Earth, or, you know, science as a whole also got trampled. So if we're gonna look at science versus religion, or science as a religion, then we have to look at what happened with Eric Dubay. Now, he did get censored. He got deleted from YouTube. He was deleted from Facebook, and I think some other places, but the flat Earth debate went strong, and many other people stepped up to the YouTube and to other places on the internet and continued on. And now there's a plethora of channels. You've got this dude D Marble, you've got this other dude named M Benz, you got Flat Out Hero, even though he's been disavowed by every other flat earther. Eric Dubay's still around and he's still cooking. He's still cooking. He's cooking, what's a ball-shaped food? He's cooking meatballs, and then you got Jeranism. Now, here's the deal. Like I said, wait. Oh, Kathy says there was strange things going on at the Bush funeral. I'm not a Q supporter. I have no idea what it might have been. It was weird. I agree. And I think that every time strange things happen somewhere, that's why we get an influx of conspiracy theories. It's the point. I've been trying to make a point in the last few weeks, and I'm going to try to hammer it out as we go through 2019, that certain people that manipulate conspiracy tropes to get ad revenue and donations, who it will completely ignore any facts or anything that's bad for their echo chamber, one, and two, they will descend upon anything out there that has a minor level of strangeness to try and use it for fuel for new conspiracy videos. Now, I'm going to continue showing you throughout the new year many thousands of examples, new examples, not old, well, some old and new, but you know, there's thousands of new examples where this concept is exercised daily. So like you got the Bush funeral. Of course there's going to be people saying, well, I need YouTube content for the day. I do that type of red pill conspiracy, flat earth, or whatever it may be. I do some type of conspiracy stuff. Well, hey, the Bush funeral would fit perfectly into my conspiracy theory. Let's go ahead and add it in there. And you could actually watch like Patriot's Soapbox and see where they started talking about how certain things were going to be rescheduled, that certain government programs that Mr. 17th letter of the alphabet anon had already predicted on a certain date that certain things would happen on that day, and you could see how they were bending and molding their conspiracy theory and those things that they descended upon in it in order to try to, you know, make excuses for why you have to give us a few days. It couldn't have been the fact that you guys were just pulling shit out of your ass to make these predictions. No, it's the fact that, yeah, this crazy thing happened, and instead of it being December 5th, it's actually going to be December 10th. Sorry. It has nothing to do with George Bush dying and the government shutting down and everybody being busy. No. It's got to be conspiracy. Then they say to themselves, well, now that this big event that was happening on December 5th got pushed back because of Bush's funeral, now we're going to have something to fill the content gap. We have no content for our channel now. What are we going to do? Well, we can descend upon Bush's funeral and make up a bunch of theories and spread it around. That'll work. And that's exactly what they did. You can actually see the moment. It was on Glow's channel or a different channel. The moment where Pamphlet found out about it and started to rehash his conspiracy theory live in front of everyone. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, how do any of these people still not know that he posts on the Q account? It's infuriating sometimes. Back to what we were talking about. No, thank you, though. And everything we look at tonight is going to have strangeness behind it. Yeah, the shape of the earth, there's a lot of things that are hard to understand and a lot of strangeness there. But we're going to be getting a lot more specific when we look at that. And when it comes to the New York lights, oh yeah, it's strange as hell. You got that transformer blowing up and it was so bright. You had video cameras in New York City that looked like there was an alien freaking invasion above their heads. Oh my God, that reminds me. I almost forgot about Lionel's video. Lionel was supposed to make the Lionel Nation. Lionel was supposed to make the lineup for tonight. And I almost forgot him. So instead of, I'm just going to pull his channel up and I'll get to that later. Okay, back to what I was saying though. It's almost like you can just sit back and write it down on a piece of paper weeks before. If you know of an event's coming, like the George Bush funeral, sit down and write what you think conspiracy theorists might say about it. And you can almost be right every single time. That is it's a condition of YouTubers being paid for conspiracy content. That's why, even though, see, when I started my main channel, I knew that there wasn't going to be some fantastic, mysterious story every day. And that's why I do the content that I do, right? On my main channel, I could go back and look at, I do so many different topics there that all fit under the same umbrella that I will never run out of content. I don't just restrict myself to today's news in a conspiracy fashion like some other channels do or other movements do, right? And you have to do something like that if you want to make daily content. You can't just create conspiracy theory every freaking day so that you have new things. That's what Secure Team 10, Richie, and other people are doing, and that's what I'm going to hopefully prove to anyone that watches my channel for the next for these types of videos. It definitely, they're becoming the thing they say they aren't. They say they aren't NPCs. They say they're not the people who just believe something because they've got a preconceived notion in their head. But I'm testing to you that they are exactly that. They're just the opposite version of the mainstream media doing it, which in turn is just as bad. Okay, I gotta shut up. Let's hear what happened during this debate, because I want to make sure I stress this again. But there's a few things Jaren says during this thing that'll really help us with our question for the night of science as a religion or science versus religion. Let's take a look.
Sure. Yeah, I guess it would be.
So when you're standing in a position, wherein, and I know you've got to have heard this before, and I'm stunned at how you don't have a counter argument for these, or you don't have a model to establish the counter argument for these.
For what?
When you're standing on a shore and you watch the masts of a ship disappear last, or when you're on a ship and you're approaching the shore and you watch the top of the lighthouse first before you see the base of it, or when you're in a car. And when you're driving along and you see the top of the mountain first, and the mountain rises as you get closer in the globe, and you can see more of the mountain as it rises before. You can see the globe of the Earth just on a road trip. You don't even have to be in an airplane. So how is it that you not see this? How do you account for these?
I would ask the same question back. How have you not seen the evidence that boats do not go over the curve? That there's
because
clearly...
I have.
So Jaren is a prime target. He's a prime target because I could take what he's speaking right now and literally show you how he's lying. How is it that you can take this, which is one of his videos where he's sitting here and he's basically making sure that you don't believe. I mean, look at this. He definitely cuts it out. He could have just, so he filmed this boat going from way up here all the way over the curve, okay? Jaren filmed it. Now, do you see the jump cuts? You see the jump cut there, Jaren? Why didn't you just play it at like 20 times speed so that we could literally watch it go beyond the curve? He does little things like this to manipulate you. Jaren knows because he filmed it. He watched the damn boat go over the curve and disappear from the bottom up, but he's on he's on the Non Sequitur show arguing that boats don't disappear from the bottom up. You get me? It's literally like, it's not as surprising once you realize what he's doing, okay? At one point, and I truly believe this with Jaren because I've watched him ever since I started YouTube for a reason, because I used to go on a show with Vegan Warrior, and Vegan and me used to always get into it. If you ever watch Doc Lupo's live streams, I was the logical guy that they always brought on the show. And I'm always willing to discuss a conspiracy theory, and I love doing this. So take any conspiracy theory and ask, what if? I love that. That's one of my favorite types of shows to do with other YouTubers. And I used to do that all the time with Doc Lupo. We'd go on his show. Maybe we talk about UFOs. Maybe we talked about the Mandela effect. Maybe we talked about flat Earth. But whatever we talked about, we would I can't ever say that word. Damn it, Busy. Busy, help me. Thank you. We would with a what if, you know, like it was always, well, do you believe in this? It's like 99.9% no, but the 0.1% chance that it could be true. We would sit and talk for hours then about, you know, how could it happen? What could be an excuse? What could be the reason why, you know? And those are fun shows. And you're not going at your audience and saying to them, oh, it's definitely true. It has to be true. We know it's true. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to convince them that, you know, aliens are going to be disclosed in 2018. You're literally talking about a what if. That's the entire basis of a show that I watch all the time called Ancient Aliens. And I've talked about it a few times. I'm not going to go on my Ancient Alien rant. You guys don't have to flip out on me. I like watching Ancient Aliens because they bring up a lot of really great topics. There's not another show out there that you can watch that has that many mysterious, like mind-altering topics that you could bring up in a show. You can go back and watch the previous seasons now on Hulu or on the internet and just be amazed at how many topics they have that are just so mysterious and crazy and so perfect, you know, to really wake somebody up that, yeah, things are different than what you were thinking beforehand. But the problem is, a lot of people then take Ancient Aliens and say, oh yeah, now my religion, and I think that aliens are the ones that are responsible for us being here. And that's the disconnect. You present somebody with a what if, and that's Ancient Aliens is a what if. Ancient Aliens says, what if it was true in every single beginning of their videos? And they really do try to stick to that throughout. Now, of course, you get certain people there that fully believe what they're saying, right? And they testify or they interview them. Testify. It's a court of ancient aliens, UNIRock. But here's my point. Here's my point. Okay. Isn't there an enormous difference? There is. Whether you're telling someone something is absolutely true and you know it's true, and then literally putting down everybody that believes the old thing that you used to believe, or whether you're saying that it's possible, is an enormous difference, or that you believe it is an enormous difference. The majority of every single YouTuber that I criticize in the fashion that I do lately in this type of series always fits the bill of trying to convince you that what they think is true and put you down or diss or provide context for how you're a shill if you do not agree with them. Well, guess what? I don't agree with Jaren. I don't agree with Richie. I don't agree with many of the other people that I'm going to show you other than the debunkers. And although I do concede that some of the things that they are talking about could be possible in some way, although not in the way that they're presenting it. Also, do you recall there was a documentary on YouTube that got millions of views, and it was trying to debunk Ancient Aliens? And it was like, what? It was infuriating because I watched it and I'm like, do you guys realize you just wasted all your time? Because Ancient Aliens isn't trying to convince you. They're literally just saying, what if this was true? And what if you consider that these things we're showing you are evidence towards that? It's crazy, but you know, because that's an example of how debunking can go too far. Let's get back to what we were talking about really quick. So I was bringing up this thing about boats going over the horizon. So here's my issue. On Jarenism's channel, boats over the curve 100% debunked, flat earth confirmed. But then his video literally shows a boat going over the curve. Watch it yourself. You know what? Why don't we let Jaren talk? Oh shit, wrong button. Let me let Jaren talk through this.
Greetings, Miss.
Not the boat's
There it goes. I was like, YouTube, what are you doing?
direction, or sorry, that's not the boat's decoration. And the blue little wave is over there, tells you where the water is. So let's continue. Now, if you look at it, it kind of makes sense. You can see that red dot, and you can see the water is right up to the center of that red dot. You can see the waviness of it.
Why the jump cut, Jaren? Why the jump cut? There was no need for it. You, like, honestly, you didn't have to be there. I really do I want to make sure I show you this. I think that Jaren purposely manipulates some of his video to make his arguments correct. Now, I want to bring up a hypothesis, a theory, a mystery that I've stumbled upon that I kind of do argue with in my head often, and I want to know what you think. So let me do that now. Weasel brand. That's a good point. That's a really good point, man. Okay. So, here's what I think is possible. I think Jaren had watched videos on YouTube, and I've got it pulled up. I'm ready. I think Jaren had watched videos on YouTube saying that boats did not go over the curve, right? Now, if you watch those videos, a lot of them use pictures, or they zoom in on, they take a boat and let it sail out, then they zoom in and they show that it's still visible, but you can't see it, and then they say, see, debunked. Now, the problem with that is you need to keep zooming until it goes over the curve. People think that the curve is really close because they look at this. People think, well, they look at this and then they always put a person here and then the boat like down this way. But really, at any given point, you have to look at the middle part. You know what I'm saying? So they think when they calculate the curve of the Earth, they calculate it from where you're standing over to here. No, you should calculate the curve in the middle of those two things. That's where the curve is going to be. The curve is always from this person's vision, and where this person's vision meets is where the curve of the Earth will be if these people are very far away from each other on either side. But a lot of flat Earth math always shows you standing. Let me do it with flat Earth math. So flat Earth math takes this person here and this person here and calculates this whole curve, when really the only curve you should get is to here and curve to here. So it should be half of what they're saying. Anyway, though, what I'm trying to say is, I think at one point Jaren saw some of these videos where they zoom in on a boat, and then they're like, see curve debunked, but they don't let the boat continue till it goes over the curve. Because in every one of those videos, if they would just continue to let the boat go, the boat eventually does go over the curve. If you're not, one thing I want to add, if you are at the level of the beach. Now, here's another point I want to bring up. So, let's say you are on, here it is, so this is the beach, and all this is water, and you watch a boat go out, right, over the curve. So if you're here and you're filming on the beach, you will see the boat go over the curve. But the further back you go, because all beaches go like this to an extent, if you look at, and then they keep going around the curve. I know that's a horrible drawing, but you get what I'm saying. All beaches, because of the way that water wears down and erodes what's around it, water sits lower. Most of, the sea level always has land going up from the sea level, and then going out. You get me? Okay, so most of these videos where you'll see a flat earther will be like this high. They'll be like, they'll go further up the beach to take their measurement, and then they zoom and zoom and zoom and zoom, because when the further up you go, the further away the curve is. Anyone that's on the beach recording a boat going out will see the boat go over the curve as they zoom in. The only way that you can film, like some flat earthers have, to where the zoom of the camera does not capture it going over, is if you are above sea level at up to a certain point. Most of the time you can tell. You look at the way because a lot of them will do a zoom from where they are, and you'll be like, wait, that person's 30 feet, 60 feet, 100 feet back up away from the water. No wonder they're zooming in infinity here and they can't capture it going behind the curve. But my point being that you have to make it testable and make sure that you're not altering the experiment in any way. So from the beach, you're always going to see the boat go over the curve. If you're at the ocean, of course, some lakes you won't. Some lakes you will, depending on how far away they are. So I have this thought in my head sometimes when I'm sitting there like going through YouTube and I stumble upon videos like this, or I see a Jarenism video. Jarenism's been doing this for a long time, and he's got a pretty high subscriber count. Why don't we just go and look and see what his subscriber count is before I go on? 133,000. And he's made significant money, because I don't know if YouTube has demonetized flat earth videos like they did some other conspiracy videos. They may have by now. But for the most part, he's made a lot of money off of his channel. And I do think that at one point he probably did get caught up in the flat earth. Now, a lot of you are going to get angry with me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. Then I'll go to the live chat and see what you guys have to say on it. I think at a point, Jarenism saw these boats. Because most flat earthers use the boat thing. They use trying to zoom in on like a city or a mountain from like far away as proof of a flat earth, little things like that, right? And they say, yeah, now I believe in the flat earth, and they start looking at all the things that can't be disproven. I think that happened to Jaren, but I think Jaren started to do his own experiments and record boats and things like that to try to go out and say, look, I did it myself. I did test it myself. And I think that Jaren realized, holy shit, look what I just recorded. Uh-oh. And that's why I think, and the reason I say that to you is because Jaren always has these types of jump cuts and stuff that take things out of context to an extent instead of explaining it. So I would expect Jaren to do two things if he's trying to be neutral. I would expect him to explain, to explain reality. Him literally recording a boat going over the curve of the earth, but then going and giving a good balanced reason for why it isn't true. He doesn't really do that, in my opinion, and that's why Red's rhetoric, jumped in And when did he do this? This is August 3rd of 2016. They've been having this battle for a long time. So Red's rhetoric jumps in and actually does what Jaronism neglected to do. And let's take a clip from that.
Because it was not well researched as you claimed it was. Once you do that, you'll actually have a leg to stand on when you lecture other people about intellectual honesty and about admitting when you're wrong.
So I went back, added some gamma, as well as some zoom to Red's ship video, and without any doubt, anyone who is intellectually honest will admit after this video that boats do not go over the curvature of the Earth.
Once again, guys, I actually have to thank Jism here, because what he's actually going to do is demonstrate that flatheads cannot use a common excuse for this kind of evidence. And you'll see
Okay, so one thing I want to say about Red's rhetoric, he's been going up against a lot of flat earth trolling for a while, and he trolls back flat earthers. I want to make sure I say I don't endorse Red trolling the flat earthers back the way he does, but I understand why he's doing it, and I'll let him continue.
exactly what I'm talking about in a moment.
So we got another little boat coming along here, scootin' dootin', and we're going to pause it here in a second, and I'll show you why. If you look carefully, this is the line of the water. Now, the reason for that is if you zoom in, you can clearly see that these are all reflections. They are not any.
One other thing, I don't know why Jaron didn't do a live zoom when he was doing this. Instead of pausing, taking a cut frame and zooming on the picture. It's almost like it kind of reinforces what he's saying if he does it this way, and he would get a different result if he did it live. If he did a live zoom in, he would not get the same result he's speaking of, but let's let him keep going.
Different part of the boat. This is a reflected image off the waterline, which is a little bit past the waterline that we can see. It is a mirage effect, also a mirroring effect, and we'll show more of that as time goes on.
Jism, nobody is saying there isn't some refraction going on, you dipshit. If you had watched my original video I made to Jeff, you would have seen that I referenced the distorted portions right at the tangent more than once. In fact, we're going to look at an example of that video later on. But for now, Jism, let's say you're right and the water line is right there. That means that everything above this boundary is undistorted. So by your logic and by what you're presenting here, that means the white strip on the side of the boat reaches all the way down to the water line in reality, since it's touching the line that you drew for us. Well, unfortunately for you, Jism, I was there. And I actually took a picture of that ship when it got...
Oh. Okay, I take back what I said about Jaron not doing a live zoom. I think this is where he was taking Red's thing and, you know, going with it there, so.
closer to me at 60x.
Affluent, yeah, I agree. He is pretty mean, but then again, people are really mean to him too, so I think it's kind of a both-way thing right now. I think if Red was being rude himself, or if he was trolling a lot himself without the other side trolling him, then I would definitely say that it's Red's fault. But no, I think it's everybody's fault in this situation.
Optical zoom. Check it out. That's right, Jism. That's the same boat taken on the same day. And as you can see, the white strip on the side of the boat is actually just the wheelhouse. And it is, in actuality, well above the waterline, sitting on top of a blue hull with the words US Coast Guard on it. So what that means, Jism, if we simply edit the image to move the water to where you said it should be given the line that you drew, we then see that, Houston, we still have a problem for the flat Earth. It appears the ship is still behind the fucking horizon.
So yeah, Red is a little intense, and I apologize. But one thing Red's doing, take out the intensity, take out him being a little bit angry. Red, you know, he had a reason to be though. He's showing that his video definitely 100% shows that the boat goes beyond the curve. Now, when we go back to the debate, this is where we started this from. You basically hear Jaren, and I'll go back just a tiny bit so he can say it again. He's still trying to push this thing. So this leads me to my whole theory. I think that Jaren realized when he did his own experiments that he was wrong, but knowing that it would destroy this whole thing he built on YouTube. Like, he can't go to YouTube. Could he go to YouTube and literally tell you all that he was wrong the whole time? No, he has to come up with insane ways to explain away him realizing that, yeah, the boats are going beyond the horizon. So, here's my point. Do you think anyone would? Let's say you got 100,000 subscribers. Out of all the people out there who've been pushing Flat Earth for 5 years, 4 years, are they going to come online and say, I was wrong, I apologize, and essentially lose their viewers and subscribers? You know, no one's going to watch them then because everybody watching them are Flat Earthers. There's only a few debunkers that watch their stuff. You know, the debunkers aren't even going to care anymore after they come out and admit it, other than that first video, right? Anyway, take a listen at why I feel this way. Here we go.
In a car, and when you're driving along, and you see the top of the mountain first, and the mountain rises as you get closer in the globe, and you can see more of the mountain as it rises before. You can see the globe of the Earth just on a road trip. You don't even have to be in an airplane. So how is it that you not see this? How do you account for these?
I would ask the same question back. How have you not seen the evidence that boats do not go over the curve? That there's
because I have seen the evidence of the boats going over the curve. So I can't see the evidence of the not evidence that I have seen.
So which videos have you seen that show a boat going over the curve?
Not just videos, my own eyes. I was recently on a road trip.
And I started to think about it also because we get so focused on the things that YouTubers say, right? We get so focused on this boat thing. I mean, it's been pretty well, you know, accepted that, yeah, when you start to get close to anything, whether it's a mountain or anything else driving, you do see it from the top first as it would come in over the horizon. Anyway, I'm gonna move on from there. There's a lot more to get to. That's just one thing. And it's like, what happens if you take Jaren, put him in a car, and drive with him and show him how this mountain's coming up, you know, just like you would expect it to on a globe? What happens when you do what they did? And this actually was kind of a death blow to Jaren a few years ago. A lot of people ended up seeing the debate, and a lot of people realized, basically, if you watch this debate on Non Sequitur, you notice that Jaren lost. And because he admitted to himself that he doesn't have a model, he doesn't have a working Flat Earth model, and you know, the dude he was debating had a working model that answered every single thing that was brought out. But anyway, let's skip through it so that you can hear how it went as it went on.
Seen a disc?
Because you have to have a model first.
Okay, so the model is a disc model.
Works.
What do you mean? Show you that something on it works? You live on the disc.
I don't live on a disc. I live on a globe, and I can prove that. And you don't live on a disc either. You keep denying the realities to make up something else that isn't a fact.
It's not denying reality. It's being smart enough to recognize.
See, here's the deal. And this is always some weird thing that I've noticed in the conspiracy community, right? You take a conspiracy theorist who's gone too far down a rabbit hole, and you actually put them up against somebody who is a professional in their field, and you hear them on their channel, cocky as hell, just going completely apeshit on all of their points, continuing to push the same points over and over and over and over, never bringing up anything that debunks themselves. Once they talk to another person, they have to go face to face with the things that debunk their model, and that's where this whole thing fell apart. You've got to watch this full video. It's Aaron Raw and Jarenism Battlefield Flat Earth discussion. I mean, this is one of the most insane debates I've ever seen, and it's we're going to go to the comments in a minute and show you what the comments say.
How do we stay on the ground, right? We would be discussing gravity now, right?
Okay.
So you don't think that the moon is a sphere, do you?
No, not in my opinion.
Okay, so is the moon a circle?
I don't know what the moon is. It could be a sphere.
The argument can't be that you know that it's not, but you don't know what it is.
Okay. Are we having a discussion, or are we having a debate where I'm taking a position? My thing was, and I
considered it an interrogation. I want to know.
Sure, interrogate all you want. And if I don't have the answer to something, I'm not going to make it up. I'm not going to I'm not going to pretend and make a. I'm not going to make a film.
Exactly that. I don't know what the moon is, therefore it's not a sphere. I don't know what the planets are, therefore they're not planets.
Well, when somebody has to lie,
everybody who knows, because everyone who's studied carefully is all part of a vast conspiracy. I don't know that either, therefore I know it.
Never said that either. Did I say everybody was part of a vast conspiracy?
Copying everybody else's data, that nobody had any observations, but they do have observations.
I didn't say nobody had observations. So you're very good at
you
putting
said that there was a
words in people's
book,
mouth.
one book, and everybody copied from it. Copernicus on. And so that nobody could have discovered any new planets because they're all copying off this old book and nobody was making their own observations. Yes, you did in fact say that.
I said that about Copernicus, and I said that about Tycho Brahe, which is the case, and Kepler. They didn't discover any planets
because they all made their own observations.
But their observations match identically to the Almagest.
Because
so, yeah, well, I'm just telling you that
on the planets that exist, yes, but on the ones that were added later on or discovered
it has nothing to do with Copernicus. It has nothing to do with Tycho Brahe.
And then we have satellite images, which of course you're going to deny because that's all part of the.
Not going to deny. Right? They're definitely composites.
And anyway, I could go into a thing about composites. I don't want to bore you, though. Let's skip ahead.
Show you every one of them.
Because I know this is a little boring, so let's get moving.
That they're all composites. There's not the only picture.
You don't have a religion.
No, because what is the age of the Earth?
Do not have anything that could match any of the criteria for a religion.
What is the age of the Earth?
I don't have any faith in anything, for example. Faith is a belief that is not based on evidence. My beliefs are based on evidence.
Okay, here's the problem with that, is that you get to choose which. You're just calling your evidence. You're just calling this stuff fact, just because your religion promotes it.
You know what a fact is? A fact is a point of data that is objectively verifiable, and that's the facts that I'm calling out.
And I think
what's the age of the Earth? What's the age of the Earth?
The age of the Earth is estimated to be something about 4.6 billion years old, based on radiometric dating of mostly. What the hell is it?
And is that a fact?
Yes.
Is it a fact? Yes.
Okay, so does that require a faith in the
fact that the Earth is...
Hang on. No, faith is a belief that is not based on evidence.
Guys, before we go down this line,
Jared, trusting in evidence, that's something different. Faith is a belief.
I want to make sure we...
I was going to pause it, but I really want to hear this part. I'm sorry.
We have to start this discussion here.
Demonstrable evidence, things I can show to be true. That's what makes them facts. It's a fact when you can show that it is true.
You're just calling it'd be like debating a Christian who gets to call the Bible his facts.
Real quick, Jaron,
I can call it a liar when he calls it a fact because the Bible is not a fact.
If I may, there's equivocation.
And there's nothing in the Bible that constitutes
Aaron, hang on.
Hold on one second.
There's an equivocation problem going on, and it's not getting anyone anywhere because you guys are there's an equivocation thing going on where you're using these words differently. And I'm well aware, the audience is well aware you're using these words differently, and it's not going to get you anywhere. Look at
why I'm giving definitions,
right?
And he is not.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm giving the standard definitions, which I can prove are correct.
Yeah.
And he's using a definition that he's equivocating that he can't show to be correct.
Ouch! Owie! 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 Anyway, I'm gonna move on. Even though I really do want to sit and show you like 6 more parts of this debate. But then again, if I did that, then we wouldn't get to the rest of the show. So let's get to the rest of the show, and then at the end of this, I'm probably gonna, since it's No Rules Sunday, and on No Rules Sunday, you get to do what I want. I can have, out of sync shows. We're probably gonna go back to this at the end. So we're gonna move on down the line of my stuffs. To this wonderful video by Wolfie. Now, I'm gonna play a little bit of this video. Fair use article in the description. I'm probably gonna test the boundaries of fair use while playing this. Wolfie, if I play too much of this, all you have to do is email UNIRocktv@gmail.com and I will edit it out of the post show. I can do that now that YouTube's added an editing system, and I can take out chunks of my live show, or I'll just delete the live show entirely, or I'll download it, and then there's, what I'm saying. I'll do something. I'm not trying to steal your content, but I definitely want people to know about this channel, Wolfie6020, and this video. All these satellites are bad news for flat Earth. And I'm going to explain why I want to show this to you, because once again, I'm not trying to poke fun at people that believe in the flat Earth. And it goes deeper than that for the reason why I'm showing it to you. So let me go ahead and get into it. All right, so as I said earlier in the show, I did edited videos for a very long time before I started live streaming. Wait, Fabric says, wait, what? YouTube lets you do that now? Yeah, you can go in and edit live videos now when you're done with them. I think you have to wait till they're done processing, but you can edit chunks out now. It's pretty cool. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, as I mentioned earlier in this show, I did edited videos for a really long time, okay? Maybe like 8 months or something before I even started live streaming. And I already had a little bit of an audience when I started. I had one of my viewers who I talked to and ended up, you know, hanging out with and stuff and emailing back and forth and helping him with some stuff that he needed done, and he helped me. And I had, his name was Dark Wolf, and he came on my show all the time. And I had people from my audience email topics in that they wanted us to look at. And between me and Dark Wolf, we had gotten submissions, all kinds of people saying, listen, we need you to tell us what's up with the satellites above. Oh shit, Eric, thanks. Hey, appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. If you're new here, subscribe. Because I'm not hating on flat earthers or globe earthers. I'm a globe earther, but I think that all of us, as intelligent people that want to get to the truth, we can all admit that's what we are. We should be able to look at all these different points and then try to describe them and talk about them and, you know, understand them. And I know that these certain things are 100% glanced over by the flat earth community because I watch flat earth videos. I'm not a flat earther, but I watch them. So anyway, back to what I was saying. All these satellites are bad news for flat earth. One of the biggest things that people contest is that there are satellites in the sky. And I think it's because people don't understand. I didn't understand it at first either. I remember when we got it sent in to us, I said to the audience, I don't necessarily know why we don't see more satellites, you know, around up in the sky when all these different things happen, rocket launches and things like that, but I'll find out. And I did find out because the Earth is this big and a satellite is like, the biggest satellite is the size of a bus. Now, you wouldn't even see the bus. You wouldn't see the bus if you made the Earth this big. You wouldn't even be able to see the bus if you zoomed in like 1,000 times. And as you go higher up away from the Earth, you get more and more space that you add to the circle. I explained this yesterday. So this is the atmosphere. If we take the line of the Earth and we roll it out, it would be what, like that long? But let's say we roll the line of the atmosphere out, it's going to be much longer. So when a satellite goes up into space, if it's orbiting whatever height it's orbiting at, it has a lot more distance to cover to go around the Earth. And it's very small. Even though there are thousands and thousands of satellites up there, you're not going to see them because you won't even see them when they're on the Earth or on the surface of the Earth. Why would you see them up there? Now, I will say this. You can see satellites up in the sky all the time. When I always tell the story, I used to go to a Boy Scout camp when I was younger, and we always used to try to, we were in this pine forest, and we'd always pull our cots out into a field that was right next to where we camped at, and so we could stare up at the sky all night because you could see everything out there. It's a lot different now. It's like the sky's way more polluted now from light pollution. But anyway, we would see satellites over and over and over and over and over and over again back then in the late 80s, early 90s, and late 90s. So, I mean, you definitely see multiple every night, no matter what. And they just look like the tiniest dot, smaller than a star, just scrolling by. Now, Wolfie has this excellent video that he just did yesterday. I'm going to try to play parts of it. Like I said, Wolfie, if I play too much, just email me and I will cut it out. But I want everyone to subscribe to Wolfie6020. This is like the 5th time I've told you to sub to him. I am subbed on UNIRock 2, but I'll go ahead and sub on UNIRock 1. I always forget to sub on my main channel. Okay, here we go.
So before getting into my own video, I just want to give a quick shout out to Mike the Globetard, who captured a spectacular ISS lunar transit recently, and what made it different to others I have seen is that during Mike's capture, the ISS was actually illuminated, so you can see it before it reaches the moon.
So, one thing we always forget is that when we look at stuff towards the sun, so like if we're on this side of the Earth and we're looking out toward, like if something is up above the Earth and it's in the Earth's shadow, it's not going to be illuminated. But if it is out of the Earth's shadow, it's illuminated and we can see it much better. So take a look at this. This is cool.
And you can just see it as it crosses the face. and then you see it again.
I think he's going to slow
as
it down to
passes
show you.
to the other
There it
side
goes.
of the moon. So
Now, some people will say this video's fake because you can't really see it right here. Well, if you look, this is much brighter. See how this part of the moon is extremely bright? Well, it reflects a lot more light. So the ISS is reflecting less light than this part of the moon, but it reflects more light than the darker parts of the moon, and that's why you can only see the ISS as it transits by the darker parts of the moon.
an excellent capture, and I've actually slowed that down for you
Shoot.
down to 20% and 5%.
Ben, I did not mean to hide that message. Why don't they let us re-show a message if we click the wrong box? It's so hard. So when you, if you try to, like when somebody types something in the chat, YouTube will say, do you want to show this, yes or no? If it's got a lot of emojis or curse words, and I always hit show, but then it moves up and I end up hitting freaking hide. Sorry, Ben, I didn't mean to hide that.
And I'll play that video shortly. And Mike has a number.
This is another one. I've shown you this a million times. This is like the complete debunk of a flat earth. Not trying to say that you don't think it's, not saying that you think it's a complete debunk of a flat earth. I'm just saying that this is a complete debunk of the flat earth. If you don't believe it, it's fine. But we have these little pylons going out and then curving down around the earth, and then we have the top of the pylons going out, and the top of the pylons are curving around the earth before they go out of visible sight.
Number of excellent videos on his channel. In this one, called Curved Water, he repeats the observation that has been made by Soundly several times across Lake Pontchartrain, where we can identify the curvature of the earth in these power lines. Well worth checking out Mike's channel.
Yeah, it's really awesome. That picture's really awesome because as you see, if this was flat, it would go out like this, right? And that's just something we all can agree with. And then you see, though, it's not, and it curves down. And, you know, not trying to, you know, shock anyone, piss anyone off, but it's just, these are all reasons why I'm a globe earther. So Thoughts from RI says, if you watch Jim Lee's YouTube video, Flat Earth is full. He shows using his website modeling to explain and show and debunk the flat horizon. Give him a chance. Oh, yeah. I think I looked his channel up yesterday. Definitely. I'm definitely going to look into him more. I'll probably end up playing some of his stuff on a live show after I watch more of it.
I'll play his ISS Lunar Transit video now, and that will set the scene for my own video.
I can't wait. Cannot wait for him to show you this. Look at that. Tell me how perfect that zoom on that transit is. Watch it again. Now watch it. It'll come in here. Here it is.
There it goes.
So as I said earlier, this is a brighter part of the moon. It has more light reflected than the ISS itself, and that's why you're going to be able to not see it. It's the light is enveloping it as it goes in front of the bright spots. But as it emerges through the dark spots of the moon that are reflecting less light, you will see it come out, and then as it against the dark sky, you'll see it come out even more. See it right here? There it comes. And you can see it kind of be, you can almost see it be enveloped by the light of the lighter spaces. It's very interesting. There it goes. It's just one of those like really awesome things because so many people want to tell you that the ISS is fake. And then they say that it's fake because of editing problems and other like tripwires and things disappearing in the video, and whether or not the ISS is used to house the astronauts, whether or not they are edited in or they're edited out or whatever they're doing, whatever trickery NASA could be doing, the best cover-up for any trickery at all would be to try to convince you that the entire thing's fake, because any normal person out there is going to look at you like you're crazy. But you could be onto something. So I want to make sure you guys understand. I'm not saying that you're wrong in questioning NASA. I question NASA a lot because I've caught them doing many messed up things. I actually pulled every picture that I could pull off NASA's website and I ran it through Photoshop, and this took me weeks, and I did a lot of it live, and I made videos out of a lot of it. They're still on my channel. And I went in Photoshop and showed where there was blatant manipulation, not just compositing, but blatant manipulation of certain images, just like the Earth having sex written in the clouds. And just like I still think that the planet Pluto having like kind of like what looks like an outline of the dog Pluto from Disney on Pluto. Have you ever seen that? Let me see if it'll come up. Pluto on Pluto. Yeah, look. Tell me, it's like, come on, brah. Come on. Like, that is too perfect. That's just too perfect. That looks just like that little dog. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, because when they named Pluto, they didn't have an image of Pluto. Back when we were younger, Pluto didn't look like this. Pluto looked like, you know, a tiny dot, because that's all we had from the Voyager pictures. And I know there could be some, I'm not saying that Pluto is manipulated with these pictures. That's not what I'm saying, okay? I'm saying we don't know. I'm saying that it's worth talking about. These types of things, like where it says, look, Earth from space, sex in clouds. Now, hopefully it's not going to show people having sex in clouds. Okay, good. If you look right here, it says sex right here. Now, I've actually downloaded the raw video, a raw picture. I have downloaded this raw picture on a live stream straight off of their website and actually put it into Photoshop and shown this. And yes, it says sex in the cloud. Now, some people will say that there was no manipulation there. I do believe that they're manipulating things. I'm just telling you that I also think that the overarching conspiracy theories that seek to say that everything's fake because of this manipulation, where it could be true, it definitely is a very low possibility that it is true. There's no evidence to say that it's true. And it's basically taking a huge leap of faith to go from video and photo editors have messed up with a bunch of stuff or lied about a bunch of stuff or distracted with a bunch of stuff, so therefore that equals everything's fake, is such a leap. And because of people like Jaren, who took the shock that we get from seeing things like on my screen right now, knowing that a video editor at NASA was either trying to give a middle finger to everybody, trying to be a disgusting perv, or he's hiding something from NASA, or maybe he's trying to send us a signal. Maybe he's trying to say, you know, I'm tired of lying to the American people, and I'm going to edit some things in when they tell me to hide things. Whatever the case may be, okay? Whatever it is, people like Jaren are taking the shock and the awe that we receive from witnessing things like this that just don't make sense, and trying to make a good career out of trying to get us to believe the most extreme thing from it. And this is why I believe this about Jaren and Richie and many other YouTubers. And because so many people yesterday when I talked about Richie and some other people were like, you're just attacking them, you're just being mean, you're just putting them down. I literally would be lying to you if I told you that I felt any other way about Jaren. And I don't want to lie to you, and I don't want to sit here and just ignore it. I have to talk about it. I'm sure Jaren has many things to say about me if he ever saw my video. Maybe one day he'll do that. I don't know. In the end, though, let's see what Wolfie comes out with here. Because, look, I've taken a telescope. I've looked at Saturn and Jupiter. I've looked at the moon. I've seen a lot of things that make me believe that science is telling the truth about more than what Jaranism will admit, okay? Though I know from my own research that certain entities are putting out fake stuff from NASA and other things. Do we discredit all of NASA because of like a person doing that? I don't think we can, unless we've got more evidence to say so. And that's why I think it's more of a cover-up and more of a monetary grab than it would be trying to wake you.
The fact that there is something up there that looks like the ISS. It has been captured in lunar and solar transits many times, and confirmed by flat earthers who have done this themselves. But one of
And that's another thing. Yes, flat earthers have also captured the ISS in transit, just so you know.
the questions I often hear flat earthers ask, if there are so many satellites up there, why can't we see more?
Now, I'm really glad that Wolfie tackled this question, because it's a... There are several questions out there that are a springboard for conspiracy theorists to try to take your belief, take your shock and awe, right, from those questions, and the disassociation that happens when you're like, why is NASA lying about that? You're kidding me. You can superimpose Pluto, Disney Pluto, right on the planet Pluto, and it matches perfectly. Holy shit, the clouds do say sex in the blue marble photo. All these things cause disassociation in us. And because of YouTubers realizing that there is a potential to manipulate that feeling so that they can get high views, high clicks, and high shares and get a profitable YouTube channel, I believe that that is, you know, where we're going with this. I know I'm repeating myself. Shut up, UNIRock.
And the simple answer to that is yes, you can see plenty of satellites in the night sky.
Oh,
if
shit.
you have a telescope. And
See, I get distracted. I'm sitting here getting distracted. What I meant to say at the end part of that horrible statement that if I was recording this, I would have edited out by now, is that people, I would add on that these guys do this with several questions. One, the satellite thing. Two, the trying to manipulate boats going over the horizon by going higher up on the beach than what they will admit they are, so that you see the boat go further and then try to tell you the earth is flat because of it, and trying to say that you can see Boston from far away, but making sure that they go up several more hundred feet than what they really are, taking the picture so that it looks like there's some type of trickery involved. All of those type of things are what are descended upon by them. That's what I meant to say the second time.
a camera capable of taking long exposure time-lapse photos, you can see hundreds of them in a single night, and that is looking at just one small part of the sky. This is what I'm going to show you in the following footage. So during the past few nights, I have been using this telescope to take long exposure time-lapse photos of the night sky. And because the telescope is situated on an equatorial mount that is compensating for the rotation of the Earth, the star field is not moving in the time-lapse. However, we see plenty of satellites crossing the path.
Ooh. Oh
You
yeah.
can see them moving down from the top, and I'll explain what that
Oh yeah,
star
there's
is
one. That's one.
and why I chose this location. We even saw an aircraft just go past then.
That was an
I'm glad
aircraft.
that happened because it helps you identify what a satellite looks like compared to what an aircraft looks like. That's what the aircraft looked like. Now, another thing I did
Yeah, you see the body and then the lights on the wings.
during the time lapse was temporarily switch off the tracking, and that means the telescope was no longer moving. And for the geostationary satellites, that means they suddenly stop moving in the frame and the star field will start moving. And we see that very shortly.
Ooh, I want to see that too.
So about now, I turned
Look-
off the track.
Look at how small the satellites are. That's what I was trying to tell you. Satellites are just the tiniest thing ever once they get up for, you know, imagine how big a satellite is on the Earth, okay? So, you know, imagine the state you're in and then put a satellite right in the center of it. You wouldn't be able to see it if you can see the width of the state even. It's so small. You wouldn't even see it if you could see the width of 5 cities. You probably wouldn't see a satellite sitting somewhere. You know, you'd have to really look to see it then. So they are so small that even if you put 1 million of them up there in the sky, you probably aren't going to see them that often in pictures or anything like that.
Tracking.
And if you could see them, you'd only see them when they're reflecting light from the sun. Never see them when they're in the shadow of the Earth. So you get me?
You can see that the satellite is now a single dot and the stars themselves have these trails. When I turn the tracking back on, the stars stop moving and the satellite will continue traveling down towards the bottom
yeah, he
of the
did
frame.
great with this. Oh, that's excellent.
And that confirms that these particular satellites, the geostationary satellites, are in fact moving.
Okay, now I'm not going to take any more of Wolfie's content. I just wanted to react to a part of it to try to respect his content. This is Wolfie6020 with the video. All these satellites are bad news for Flat Earth. Take a look at it. I'll go ahead and share it on my Twitter now. I'll share every video that we look at today on my Twitter, so that if you do want to watch them, you just go to @UNIRocktv on Twitter and click the links and we can watch all of them. If I can get it to freaking pop up. Give me a pop-up, bro. Hold up. Here we go. Hey, it worked. So there's that one. And I'll share, like I said, I'll share every one of them. I'm going to go ahead and close Wolfie's video out. Now, back to our original thing. I know I'm going off track just a little, but because of the climate or the atmosphere on YouTube, you got all these people with all these different beliefs. Some are religious, some are atheists, some are nihilists, some just don't believe in anything at all and don't ever, I mean, they don't even think about religion or where they came from at all on their day to day or even at all in their life. And all those people mixed together with their propensity to believe certain things. I want to pose a question now in the middle of the video. Is it not possible that the Earth and being flat or round isn't really what's going on YouTube? Is it not possible that all the great information coming off of 8chan by an anonymous guy or 4chan isn't really what's happening on YouTube and us arguing about it? Is it not most likely possible that it's just YouTubers trying to convince you of things? What I mean is, everything I've shown you tonight, I've pulled up a source so that you could pull it up yourself, watch it yourself, come to your own conclusion. I've given you my thoughts and opinions, of course, throughout. You could take all those away and just look at what I've shown you and draw your own conclusions throughout. I'm not trying to get you to believe something. I'm trying to give you enough information that actually provides context to both sides. I know I didn't show Jaren, a lot of Jaren trying to explain why boats don't disappear going down the horizon, right? But that's because his argument literally boils down to him saying boats don't go down past the curve. That's all his argument is. Whereas the people who are trying to show you boats going over the curve are literally giving you experiments, showing you what's going on with it, showing you the raw video, trying to make it to where you can make up your own mind and not even hear them, not even listen to them, mute them, and still realize, yes, as long as you're standing on the beach, that boat's going over the curve. And I'm trying to also exercise the point that, let's say Jarenism's not talking, but you play Jarenism's video. Let's say Red's Rhetoric, who is the person who was debunking Jarenism, let's say he doesn't talk, but you play Red's video. What are you going to believe when watching those two videos without any sound? You're most likely not going to believe Jaren. You're going to believe that boats do go over the curve. My point that I've been making for years on YouTube, that I've been trying to get people to wake up from and trying to get people to get out of this place in their head where they get so trusting of a YouTuber or a concept that they're not willing to consider evidence and to think for themselves. My point is, it is the person leading you. You are sheeped out if you are trusting somebody instead of trusting what's on the screen, the evidence. And that's why I have criticized highly. We have entire YouTube channels out there that make giant claims, and I'm sorry to do this today because I know you guys get mad at me when I say this name, Jordan Sather. Now, I'm not going to go on a rant. I'm not going to bring him up a lot. I'm going to say this, though. He's just the perfect example for this thought process here. Jordan is the type of person who does not do anything but talk. So all of Jordan's minions, all those people that follow Jordan Sather and believe everything that the man has shown them, are solely going off of his words. He doesn't bring sources up. He does not make his argument by showing you facts, but he'll tell you he is. Without Jordan's words, you would not be able ever to understand any of his points. There's no source material to go off of. In fact, you are most likely to come to different conclusions if, let's say, there is a couple things that Jordan Sather has sourced out. Remember the whole Trump giving a speech and he zoomed in on him doing his hand signs. So if you didn't have Jordan talking while you watched that, you wouldn't think that the hand sign's making a cue. None of us would. It literally takes him to convince you of it for those people to believe it. And now we have the state of YouTube that we're in after all this time. You have a place on YouTube where it's not logic, it's not what people say are woke people, it's not what people say. You've got an enormous community of people that watch the news and take any mainstream media narrative as the truth. Enormous population of people that do that. You've got an enormous population of people that believe the conspiracy side, right? And you've got a very small group of people who try to just gather facts, debunk things that can be debunked, and come out with an accurate portrayal of what's going on. The actual community of so-called woke people or people out for the real truth are very, very small. They're not the ones trusting the mainstream media. They're not the ones trusting Richie from Boston, the other people out there running their mouths, Jaronism, Jordan Sather. You get me? But I'll tell you another thing that's really damning here is that take a look at all of those people. All the reporters, all these people that are putting out the mainstream media narrative. It's almost like they're all chirping the same song, right? They're saying the same thing every time they talk. I know you see it. I know I've sat and showed it to you over and over again, but tell me, is that not what they're doing on the other side? On the extreme side where people are trying to convince you of a conspiracy nonstop on their channels. They're also doing that. They're doing exactly what the mainstream media is. They are just chirping the same thing, pushing the same thoughts, getting the same stuff out there, except it's the exact opposite thought process. Oh, I believe that the space is this. Well, the conspiracy side, oh, I believe NASA's doing this. But the point is, the viewers are all reacting the exact same way. The people that view the mainstream media audience are just waving on the NPC. And the people that are just believing the conspiracy audience are also waving on a different NPC. The only true people that are sailing this sea, trying to make sense of it, are the ones that are not being led by these people. And I've tried to show that for years now, nonstop on my channels. So let's break the monotony of this serious, ranty speech that I just gave on No Rules Sunday. Well, I'm not supposed to give speeches on No Rules Sunday. I'm supposed to be having fun. Let's watch a comedic video. Let's watch Flat Out Hero, who is an accused. If you read his comments and believed them, then you'd think that this is how you would describe Flat Out Hero based on his comments. He is one of the heaviest drug users that's ever existed, and he's an unhonorable person that makes challenges to people, saying that he will pay you to do a certain thing, but when you do it, always backs out, and someone who moves goalposts nonstop. Let's take a look at his new video, because my God, is it not funny as hell. He owes a guy named McToon. Well, see, Wolfie6020, the guy we watched with the satellite video, actually is the one that met his challenge first. MC Toon met his challenge after Wolfie6020. So Flat Out Hero just tries to ignore that Wolfie6020 even exists now, because he's trying to, you know, really get to people. You know what I'm saying? So Flat Out Hero, the next step in the Flat Out saga, he's writing and drawing with crayons and imaginary checks, where on the name field it is Flat Out Hero Bitches pays $10,000 to charity, and he's got a $20 bill folded up like he just got done sniffing some crack with it. Let's hear what he has to say, because this is one of the funniest videos. Chris Bova says, will somebody please go to my channel and tell me I'm funny? Yeah, man, I'll go to your channel later, I suppose. Let me pull it up. I'll check out your channel later. Just because you asked nicely, as long as you don't advertise your channel in my live stream anymore, I'll go check it out. All right. Oh, you play music? Am I allowed to play one of your songs on my show? Let me know, Chris. If you give me permission, I'll play one of your songs. Kev says, I'm dropping an image in the current live stream room on Discord, talking with MCN on Skype right now, and you will see they knew right away when I said RFB and Gary Francie. Holy shit, Kev. Holy shit, Kev. Put it in the current live stream room. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm with you, buddy. Look, you don't have to prove shit to me. I knew the minute I read your comment, I was like, it makes too much fucking sense. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to wait for Kev to drop that in the current live stream room. I got it pulled up right now. And I'm going to get ready to laugh at Flat Out Hero with you guys on No Rules Sunday. Mods, let me know if Chris gives me permission to play one of his songs later, okay? I wasn't looking at the screen. Let me know if Chris does. Okay, hold on. I gotta look at this really quick. This is Kev's submission. I want to check it really fast. Oh, hold the front door. Republic Digital. They've been emailing me. Let me see if I get it and pull it up. I swear to God, I have them in my email trying to ask me for shit. Oh my God. Hello, family. As you know, YouTube has been censoring alternative media channels they don't agree with. BP Earthwatch and the Ralph Retort are a couple that went down. We wanted to reach out and offer you a free consultation or how we can help protect your channel from censorship. If you have a few minutes, reach out via email or add us on Skype, Republic freaking Network. Holy shit. Yeah, Chris, you too, man. Happy New Year, dude. Press that subscribe button for me. I'm such a shameless self-promoter. So what is... Wow, man. Okay, so they're saying that you said... Not sure what it was. In the same kind of niche as Gary and Richie. It was a few years ago we spoke. Damn, dude, sorry to hear it. Good now, just getting back to a place full-time on YouTube. How's your podcast? Thanks. Still going well. Go to republicandigital.com and register. Let me see here. republicdigital.com. What is this? republicdigital.com. Says it's not secure. I'm getting warned about the site already. Don't go there. Your browser doesn't like the sitey. Oh shit, dude. All right, I'll get back to that. I'm gonna keep looking into it, Kev. That's fucking crazy, man. I'm gonna tweet that out later. Dodge or someone, Roosevelt or Dodge or somebody, tweet that out so I can retweet it. Okay, so now we're gonna look at the extreme hilarity that is Flat Out Hero and his new video doing some, I don't even know what he's gonna say in this, guys. All I know is Flat Out Hero is the funniest YouTuber I've ever seen.
What up, YouTube? This is a message to MC Toon. I just finished writing this and then I got to thinking, you know, if you only pick one.
Flat Out Hero, there's a problem. You can't write charity right here and then expect it to go to any charity. You literally have to specify who you're writing it to there, brother. Just saying.
Then I'm gonna pick a couple more. Or if you can decide on like 3 or 4 that I can split this up for and just spread it around, because I don't trust charities at all. I don't trust the Red Cross. I don't trust the Clinton Foundation. I don't trust any of those.
Dude, he's trolling. I've said this the entire time throughout the entire Flat Out Hero saga. The whole time I've said that he's just a troll. He's just trolling. He's trolling flat earthers. He's trolling non-flat. He's just playing with everybody, man. Tell me that's not true right here.
I don't really trust any.
Shit, dude, my studio is duct taped better together than this check.
Charity whatsoever.
Thanks, Dodge. I'll hit it up later.
I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we kind of shotgun affected it, and hopefully at least one of the charities that we decide upon. Or
what are you talking about? Flat out.
At least one of them.
Here's how a YouTube video works. Start the video and tell yourself people probably don't know what you're saying. They don't know what you're talking about. So you should start off by saying, hi, I'm Flat Out Hero. I'm a flat earther that said that no one could complete my map challenge. When 2 people completed my map challenge, Wolfie and McToon, I didn't pay them the $100,000 that I promised to anyone that could complete my challenge, and instead did a bunch of videos where I insulted them and like rapped and like ran around nodding out and shit. No joke. That's why people in the comments constantly say that he's high. Then, you know, elaborate on everything that's going on so that everybody can get up to speed on what's going on here, so that I don't have to do it if I want to play your video and react to it.
We'll be doing what they're saying they're doing with the money. But yeah. Let me know, Toon, before Christmas. I want to make sure this gets to the kids and to everybody before the holidays, if at all possible. So I'll obviously write other checks if we're splitting it up for other charities. I'll rip this one up. But yeah, I hope that this will inspire others to be as giving as you can this holiday season. Full transparency, man. I'm not rich. This isn't all my money. I'm very blessed to have friends in high places. I'm very blessed.
Come on, dude. No. He's trying to say he doesn't have the money, but he has friends that are gonna let him have the money. No, you don't. Come on, bro. Come the fuck on. You don't even have the 100,000 that you owe them. Why does it say 10,000? You owed them 100.
We're gonna be doing what we can to bless others. When I send out the checks, I'll make sure to be at the post office, and I will videotape everything, make sure everybody knows there's no funny business.
Oh, no. There's definitely anything you do, Flat Out Hero, is defined by the word funny business. I want to see what people say in the comments, though, because these comments are the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. You haven't forgotten about Wolfie's 100,000, have you? You're pretending to send a check now. We can see your lifestyle and meth addiction. This is fake news at the highest and most deceitful level. You already owe 100,000 to Wolfie. I have friends in high places. I think you meant I have high friends. Ah! Oh my god, dude, that's too good. I think you meant I have high friends in places. It's the places part that makes it so good. Oh shit. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I don't believe this for a second. I think it would have settled with an apology and admittance that we live in a globe. Giving money away before paying your debt to Wolfie. Don't do drugs, kids. Thank you for this. I'm happily impressed. In my video, I mentioned World Vision in part because of their high rating by Charity Navigator. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, this is McToon. Okay, wait, I gotta go see what McToon says. I want to see McToon's channel. I never watched any of McToon's videos. Flat Earthers plan to go through magic portal at North Pole in 20... What? Okay, I didn't plan on watching this with you guys tonight, but it's No Rule Sunday, so I'm allowed.
Hello, I'm MC Toon. Today on episode number 1 of Flurf Spotlight, we'll be looking at Flat Earth Paradise. Devin from Flat Earth Paradise and a bunch of his friends are planning to enter a magical portal in the North Pole next year. That's right, a subgroup of Flat Earthers think there's a super secret magical wonderland waiting for them at the North Pole. Since it's
Well, duh, it's Santa's house.
Christmas season and this dude wants to go hang with Santa, I thought we'd compare some of his stuff to a similar story about traveling from the North Pole. The 2003 movie starring Will Ferrell, Elf.
I love that show. That's one of my favorite shows still. Oh my gee, I didn't watch Elf this year because I don't have cable. I do, but I don't have it hooked up. I just use my Chromecast. I've got to watch Elf, man, before the end of the year. I haven't watched it.
Devin from Flat Earth Paradise.
Dodge. I love Elf. It's one of Will Ferrell. Why do I always forget Will Ferrell's name and I call him Ron Burgundy? Do you ever notice that on all my streams I call him Ron Burgundy because I forget his name? Will Ferrell. Elf is such a good freaking show, dude. It seems so cheesy at first. It's like, this is going to be the cheesiest, dumbest thing ever. Then you watch it and you're like, oh, that was good. And then next year you watch it again and you're like, damn it, I'm addicted to it. Then like a couple years later, you're like, I can't go without it.
Thinks he is Hermes. Yeah, really. He claims he is the incarnation of the Greek god Hermes.
I am Hermes.
He's joking, right? Right? He doesn't think he's a god, right?
Messenger of the gods.
Oh my god, he does. Where do you find these? I constantly am trying to find YouTubers to make fun of, and it's so hard to find good quality content where they're not trolling and they're being serious but doing things like this. McToon, how the I gotta start watching more McToon.
Also known
John, I get it. I don't believe in elves, but I love that show.
as Mercury or
Dead DPK said no, he's serious. Did he say it was herpes? He either said herpes or Hermes. I'm not sure.
Thoth. I am Hermes. I am Hermes. Soy Hermes. I am Hermes. Messenger of the gods. I am Hermes.
Of course he's not Hermes. He's either severely delusional or lying. But he is seriously trying to convince me.
This is what makes YouTube so good. This is why big corporations can't take over YouTube. Because this type of quality content would not be... I'm not being sarcastic, I mean it. You gotta have people that go to YouTube and act completely freaking stupid in order to have people criticize it and react to it and create a constant circle of life content on YouTube for us to watch. And if big corporations take over YouTube, we're not gonna have it.
People that all his stories are real. I think psychologists could write a dozen papers on this guy. Similarly, in Elf, Buddy thinks he's an elf until he's told he's a human. Unlike Devin, he accepts this truth. Not only does he think he's Hermes, but he follows a disturbing trend common in the Flat Earth community. They like to drink their own urine. Devin is no exception.
Hi there. I'm currently drinking my own urine. I know. It seems strange, right?
No. Stop. Is he trolling? He's not being serious, though. He's got apple juice, right? Oh, no, I had it. Trust me, I was ready. No. People like him are easy to find. Asylums are full of them, says Unprogrammed. True. But they need to start letting people in asylums use cameras and connect to YouTube. At least give them something to do. It'd be productive. It would give us endless amounts of content to look at. Then again, we'd get a lot of shit where people would say, you're just targeting people with mental health problems, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, to an extent you could say, but hell, we've got enough people with mental health problems that you can find just by typing Glow VOP into YouTube and then watching Glow's channel. Because Glow has a video of Tracy Remington. What? Fresh evidence? Is it really fresh? Screwy Louie's daughter is wearing a panda suit in a staged photo. What has happened to this platform, man? Okay, I gotta finish this one out. McToon. Okay, I have to source it. Hold on. Okay, I'm reacting to a video done by McToon that only has 500 views. Now, he needs more subscribers, and he does some good content. So hook him up. Let's get him at least 1,000 views on this video if possible. I usually get 2,000 views on each of my videos, so maybe if I can talk 500 people into going and helping, watch and share this. But I think this is a good video. But you need to find this channel, McToon. Make sure you sub, hashtag UNIRock sent me, all that good stuff, so he doesn't try to strike me for playing his video. Because if he gets a good return on me playing his video, he won't be mad about me playing his video.
That I would pee into a glass and consume my own bodily fluids.
He goes on to rattle off a list of supposed benefits of drinking your own urine. Are any of these backed by research? Of course not. Google it. There's plenty of crazies with empty claims, but no actual studies. He also suggests you should drink other bodily fluids, which I won't get into here, but there's an unlisted video I discovered with details. There's a link to that gem in the description. Hey, look at that. He's using a fancy tumbler for his pee-pee drink. He must have a sophisticated palate.
Oh, come on.
Looks
no.
like he prefers...
Stop. That doesn't even look like urine.
His whiz neat. I think On the Rocks would be a better choice. What if he were to mix his weed...
Why is he Okay, I've heard about this. Why do people drink their urine? Okay, we're going to go to health.com. All right. Drinking from your own spigot, sipping a warm cup of herbal pee. Okay, this has to be a joke. Whatever you want to call it, the practice of drinking urine goes back a millennium, known as urine therapy, urophagia, or urotherapy. The medicinal use of urine is still practiced in some parts of the world. Going back to Rome, ancient Greece, and Egypt suggests urine therapy is used to treat acne to cancer. Proponents make similar broad-based claims about urine's curative power, so this is as bad as the coffee enema. There's no scientific evidence to support the claims that drinking urine is beneficial. On the contrary, research suggests drinking it will induce bacteria, toxins, and other harmful... Yeah, because you're peeing it out because it's all waste. It's the stuff you're not supposed to have in your system, people. Why do I want to watch the rest of this video? I'm only going to watch like another second of it.
With rum and coconut milk, he could enjoy a pina colada. That gives me an idea. All these flat earthers are drinking this stuff straight. They would probably appreciate some creative options for how to mix it. How about we make a bunch of cocktail recipes? We can compile them into a book. What better Christmas gift for your conspiracy-prone relative? I'll create a comment that says Whiz Cocktail Recipes. If you have any ideas, add it to that thread. Being that he is a flat earther, I'm sure he's going to have some awesome proofs for why the Earth is flat.
Every photo and video given to us by NASA is completely faked and riddled with CGI.
What computer from...
Okay, back to our video. I apologize. There's just something interesting about that I had to at least ponder. Okay, so, back to what I was saying. Let me go into it a little tiny bit more. I want to at least make my point before I completely forget to. But is science a religion, or are we in a place where it's science versus religion? In my opinion, I think that we are in society at a place where science is versus religion. I don't think it's that way with everybody. Like with me, like I said, I was an atheist. I started to look into certain things in a scientific way, in a very, very convoluted way, but in a very specific way. I know that contradicts itself, but still. Research papers, other people's opinions. I just crammed my head full of everything I could. And I started to realize one concept. I hit the wrong thing. One concept that kind of like really changed my mind about what I believe. It completely changed my view of this world, this reality, because I will say it. When I was an atheist, I was depressed all the time. And no, I don't think that atheism makes you depressed. I think it can. But there is that overarching thing like in your head, like, why are we even here if it's just this random thing? But then again, I do get the point that a lot of atheists make, that they say, well, you guys are just trying to find reason in living when you have none in front of you, and that's why you invent these things. But the truth of the matter is, I used to say to myself, this world is so mechanical, right? Evolution, adapting, animals adapting to live, plants and animals, and studying. And I know I'm being super basic right now, but I went to college. I studied all of this. I studied all of the in mathematics. I studied a lot of advanced courses, I'll admit it. And in English, I did basic courses, and I only did basic like biology and stuff like that. But the more I looked in to how mechanical that the world, the universe is, they can predict the stars, they can predict comets, they can actually launch things into space now. And I know some people will contest that, but still, I think there's a lot of evidence that we are launching things into space. Sorry to say. What I'm trying to say is, I always had this thought, like, it does seem like for some reason life evolved on this planet, and that just, if you let life evolve long enough, what's the ultimate end goal? Well, becoming intelligent and becoming human beings, right? So I said, there must not be a God. We must have just evolved to where we are. We weren't created. I mean, the evidence is there. And that's why I was an atheist. But then again, how does life make any sense? Okay, so when I was an atheist, that was my viewpoint. We can prove that we evolved to this point, at least to some extent. And I know there's an argument there, and I know it's a completely different video. So if I was a hardcore atheist that believed that we, you can show evolution in the mechanical universe equates to life being intelligent, how is it that I believe in a God now? Well, when I looked into DNA and I started asking myself, what's the scientific excuse for DNA even existing in this universe at all, okay? Or on this earth at least. Let's just go to the earth. Why would DNA even start out? And of course, you go and look at how DNA is read, how it's manufactured, and you see how complicated these cells actually work. It's almost like each cell is a complicated supercomputer, honestly, if you look at a cell. And it just seems so complicated to me. And I know that's also evolved, and cells used to be a lot more basic, but still, how in the world do you put a bunch of cells together and get us, right? I know, it's just something that only a God could really understand. What made me switch from atheism to believing in a creator, though, was for so long, I would say to myself that when I die, I'm going to just go back to the nothingness that was beforehand, It's pretty obvious, right? That's a lot of atheists do believe that. They say that to Christians. Like, there's these arguments where Christians try to piss off atheists try to piss off Christians. Like, no, when you die, you're not going anywhere. And you can tell it affects the Christian, and they get all mad, right? But the thing was, I started to say, what am I assuming that nature is, right? I'm assuming that nature is plants and evolution and the earth, but that's not nature. If you look at our universe, everything but the earth, you look at the universe and say to yourself, well, hold on, nature is really a bunch of things floating around in an empty space of the universe in a way that's predictable through physics, trigonometry, and geometry, right? So really, life makes no sense if you look at the universe. If you look at how DNA evolves, how complicated DNA would have to be to reproduce us, you almost say to yourself, how the hell? Yeah, sure. You're saying that the first cell started out and it had this basic form of DNA and it helped it reproduce. How the hell would that just appear? You know? If you look at DNA, it's extremely complex, but let's make DNA not complex for a second. Let's make DNA really basic. So DNA is like 3 numbers and it's in a double helix, right? And inside of it, as it passes through like replicators, like these like cells that are perfectly formed to like read the DNA and then mimic the DNA, and then there's like a machine arm that comes over and pulls like a part of it and transcodes it to another part. That's all happening in a cell so that it can reproduce itself. So really, nature isn't really like you look at the forest and say, wow, it looks pretty basic, but really the forest is highly not basic. It's highly advanced. It's highly complicated, right? And I know this is a gross oversimplification. And one of my videos, you know, that series I'm going to do in January where I sit down with people that disagree with me and have a discussion with them to try to understand them. I'm also going to do it with me being a believer and talk to an atheist, because I'd love to do that and see if they can, like, you know, fill some of the blanks I have, or if I can fill some of the blanks they have. But in the long run, I came to the assumption that no, nature as we see it, which is like you know, water flowing through a forest, and you know, the plants growing and a little bird tweeting by and a squirrel, that's just not right at all. If you look at what's really going on in any of those organisms, extremely complicated things are happening, and it almost defies all logic just to say, oh yeah, this all just evolved and it works perfectly and it's here. And then again, I do think evolution happened, and I do believe that, you know, the science that we have is an indicator that if this was a godless universe, it would just be the planets floating around and life wouldn't grow on a planet, if you get what I'm saying. And I understand the problems with my line of thinking, okay? I understand, you know, there is one other part. That whole thing that I just described, it all falls down to this like basic concept. This is what I really want to discuss with an atheist when I do that video. And I know some of you have heard this before, and I'm sorry if you're hearing it, but hearing it again. So an atheist is saying that this universe is just natural, right? And it's just here this way, and then life just evolves. But in all reality, why is this universe even here? Like, why is it there? Right? It seems weird that we would say, oh yeah, take an empty spot, put you know, trillions upon googleplexes of hydrogen in there and let it sit inside stars and shit, and then eventually it'll form into a planet where life can evolve. That does not fit to me as nature. I would describe nature completely differently. And you could be saying you're just uneducated and you're just speaking off of belief, but no, that's just how I feel right now. I'm working on it, trust me. Anyway, so really, from an atheist point of view, you would think nature would be empty. There wouldn't be all this stuff here. It wouldn't be all this shit happening. Nature seems to me like the absolute natural environment would be an empty universe. All those things being in the universe are unexplainable. So if you have an empty universe, and that is basically what we had at one time here, what would happen for nothing to evolve into something, right? Because nothing should always stay nothing. You've got an empty universe, And the way science explains it is a Big Bang, right? And I know I'm getting deep, but this is No Rules Sunday, so deal with it. So this is nothing right here, and this is something. So like the Big Bang, here's the weird part. Here's the weirdest part about it all. This is a couple points I want to make, a couple lines of thought, right? You've got nothing and you've got something, okay? Now, where do you put atheists? Well, atheists believe that there was nothing, and, well, we're going to say atheists, but we mean, you know, people that believe in the scientific explanation. So atheists believe that there's nothing, that there was a Big Bang, and then all these processes happen that went and eventually became something, right? And what does religion believe? Religion believes there was nothing, and then there was a Big Bang, or God said, let there be light, and then, but by some form of, you know, however they explain it, right? Through the Bible or through whatever other religion you want to say, eventually it becomes something. You know, really, something should always go to something, but nothing should never take a hard right turn, in my opinion. And I know I'm speaking basic, and I get it, and I know I get it. This isn't me trying to tell you that this is true. I'm just telling you a thought process. This is not a claim. But anyway, you've got nothing, and how in the world would we ever bend the fucking reality to make something out of a nothing? And some people will say, you're looking at it wrong, because the Big Bang happens, but then everything goes back down to a singularity, and then the Big Bang happens again. So you're saying, okay, the universe is like a heartbeat. It just keeps pumping, right? But with that line of thinking, what about the first heartbeat? Yeah, sure, you could say that the universe continually expands and then contracts to a singularity, and then let there be light, Big Bang expands back to the singularity. But still, let's rewind that back. Well, there is no beginning. You'd say it's happening to infinity, though? So if it is happening to infinity, what the hell made it all start out? So it's almost like taking the entire, you know, like that debate of who created God. You know what I'm saying? It's like that whole thing. Who created God then? Where you could say, yes, that our universe is the only universe that there is, and that we are relegated to pop out of nowhere and then disappear back to nowhere. But if we're following the basic trend of our universe, right, then you have to admit one of two things. That eventually, in the beginning, then there must have been something that triggered this beating heart universe that eventually evolves life and then collapses back to a singularity and then Big Bangs again. There had to have been something to create it, in my opinion. Just the sheer nature of reality shouldn't exist. The sheer fact that anything exists, in my opinion, as of now, doesn't jive with coming out of nothing. You get me? And I know this is super basic, but it's the only way to explain it. So here's the strangest thing to me. If you really look at religion versus science, okay? If you really look at it really deep, and I know I'm probably scaring away all my viewers. If you look at this really, really, really deep, atheism and science has a lot in common, because atheism takes all of this around us and admits that it is normal or nature. They're basically prescribing to basic belief structures even while they're trying not to, because they are a product of this universe and they're thinking inside of this universe, if you get me. Same thing science is doing. The craziest thing, I don't see how anyone doesn't say that there is no science versus I don't understand how people can say, what was the title? Science versus religion? There isn't, because a lot of people will say science is a religion. That's not what I'm saying right now. I'm saying that the root of science and the root of religion sounds like the same fucking thing. Now, I'm about to blow your mind in a minute. Not really, because you already know this, but I'm going to make a point. So I've tried to give you a thought process where when you get down to the nitty-gritty, we are prescribing to certain set standards of our universe just to admit that we exist. Saying that now that's why I do believe in a creator, because I was an atheist my whole life and did not believe in a creator. Eight or so years ago, I started to believe in a creator, okay? And the reason is because I went back further than just the Big Bang. Like, I'd go to the Big Bang, I'd say, damn, man, science has it, you know, set. Evolution, Big Bang, this shit makes sense. No, it doesn't. It only makes sense because we accept it. It only makes sense because we're here. Like, let's just say we are not here. Let's say we are in heaven or something, right? Let's just say heaven exists, and let's say we are in heaven and we have never heard about the earth. So you got somebody walking up to you in heaven like, hello, immortal being. Why, hello, immortal fellow. How are you? Hey, do me a solid. Imagine a world where there is this big bang and all this matter comes out of it, but then it eventually collapses back to a singularity. But somewhere in the middle, there's a planet and life evolves on it. They'd all start laughing like, ha 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 ha. You are insane, you crazy belief. Those beliefs are insane. Why do you believe in that? No, my God, that's nuts. Because it's nuts. Can we not admit the absurdity of our existence, please? If we're looking at it from both an atheist point of view and the point of view of a creator. And I'm saying that only because of what a lot of religions do now is you see a lot of Christians or a lot of people that I'm around look at science and shake their head at it. Like, oh, science, they don't know what they're talking about. It's so dumb. They're trying to tell you what created you. They're trying to tell you that there is no God. How's that? How's that? When science and religion both prescribe back to that same way of thinking. They both believe that there is a let there be light situation that eventually, due to what seems to be random occurrences, will let life exist on some planet. That's literally insane, because you have to admit that DNA somehow is just set and prepped to start replicating inside of cells once you get to a planet where there is a watery ocean, right? It's insane. Wow, that oxygen must be magic, right? That's what those two are probably saying up in heaven, those two immortal souls. That oxygen must be damn magic. Isn't it, though? I know I'm about to get even crazier, and I'm about to have all my subscribers unsubscribe and leave. But I'm going on a tangent because it's No Rules Sunday, so either click out of this video or be prepared, because I'm going on a tangent. Here we go. Give me some tangent music, Busy. Okay. So life adapts or evolves. That's logical, because life has to adapt in order to live, or in order to exist. You got a squirrel and it lives in a very cold area. Eventually, after a few thousand years of reproducing, the squirrel's gonna get fuzzier and able to live in the colder area. You get a squirrel and put it in a hotter area and reproduces for 2,000 years, it's eventually gonna lose a little bit of its hair so that it's a little more comfortable. But why does evolution care about comfortability? It shouldn't at all. You get me? Evolution shouldn't care what's comfortable for a organism. Even if an organism would have to literally like have no arms and eat, nuts by chewing with its teeth and cutting its mouth every time it bit something, it's not going to evolve better teeth to eat those damn nuts. It's not like evolution or life gives a damn. We know that. Life doesn't give two shits about us. We're just here experiencing it. But evolution wants us to believe that, yes, there are biological traits that will happen to make a person's life more comfortable, or an organism, life's more comfortable as it evolves. And you can see this in nature. If you study evolution, you notice that there were many periods of mutation that developed into a different species, a different organism, where it happened just to make life better. Like, why wouldn't we still have our fins on our asses? It's not like it gets in the damn way, right? I mean, it does out of comfortability, but it doesn't out of necessity. And so it's almost like you're telling me evolution helps to make us comfortable throughout our life for some strange reason. It doesn't make sense. I have so many small, fickle arguments with evolution also, where I get it. We're not going to see the fossil record for all these things that are out there, right? And I told you I was going on a tangent, and I'm sorry. We're not going to see the fossil record for all of these things that are out there, because fossils will degenerate and certain creatures will not even become fossils. I'm down. I get you. I got it. But how do we make such giant leaps between certain animals? You really want us to believe that between the bird and the bat, or between this animal and the bat, that the bat somehow started to fly? Like what? The bird was like one day like, oh shit, dude, I'm mutated and now I can almost glide through the air. So I'm going to start trying to glide through the air all the time, and I'm only going to bang other birds that can almost glide through the air to the point where we can start flying, homie. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like certain animals are preset based on their type. What's really strange, you guys know that I'm obsessed with ancient texts, especially ancient religious texts, but any ancient text at all. Well, once I realized that I wasn't an atheist anymore, and that it was just more logical for me to believe that there's a creator out there, and that yes, there has to be some kind of immortal being. As hard as it is for us to imagine an infinite anything, that's just a constraint of our limited mind, okay? And our mind is only really limited because we are in this physical space, in my opinion. So I could see how somebody who is not constrained by what we eat, because if you don't eat right, you don't think that good, honestly. You don't sleep right, you don't think that good. But imagine a brain that's unlimited. It could imagine infinity in a probably very calculatable way, right? Measurable type way, even though it's unmeasurable, but you get what I'm saying. It could at least cope with infinity. So I do think that it is just as possible that there is no creator out there, that there is an infinite creator out there somewhere. I do think both are highly possible. The reason why I believe that there is a creator over not being one, completely to the point of I'm convinced of it though, is just because, like, once again, it almost has to be pure fate. So let me make a very stupid argument to you really quick. It almost has to be pure fate for this to happen. You have, and I'm gonna discuss my aquarium theory. If you've never heard my aquarium theory, I've got a video from like a few years ago on UNIRock where I attempt to explain it. I was very bad at explaining things back then when I first started YouTube. I could explain it to where I understood it, but I was bad to explain it to where another human being could understand it. Let me get into my aquarium theory for 2 seconds. So the universe is an unlimited aquarium. It's an infinite aquarium in your head. Just say, okay, universe, aquarium. Let's represent the universe as an aquarium where somehow, Big Bang for atheists, let there be light for believers, we get poured into the aquarium an enormous amount of hydrogen particles at their base form, which is just like what? It's just a electron and a positron. I forget what it's called. A neutron, an electron, and the positive one. I forget. See how long it's been since I've been in school. So we fill this thing up with googolplexes of particles, and because of set rules, you get me? There's set rules that make up things like gravity and heat and the transfer of electricity and the balance of energy, or the word for the balance of energy, I'm not thinking of it right now, where nature always makes an equilibrium either with energy, with air, with anything, water. Infinite hydrogen particles will eventually form into clumps of galaxies, clumps of stars, clumps, you get what I'm saying. That's supposed to be the natural way of things according to scientific-minded individuals. And I do think that's what happens out there. But what you're trying to tell me is, and let's make the aquarium the entire whiteboard. So my whiteboard is now the aquarium. I'm not going to draw the edges. So what we've got is galaxies, they start forming stars. These stars burst, and then instead of just being hydrogen now, hydrogen burnt up, it ignited, burned up, and the sheer weight of the hydrogen pressed gold and silver and plutonium and uranium and all these heavier particles due to the weight of the star in the center of it, heavy particles being formed. During the supernovas, these particles are exploded and then distributed through the galaxy, or I'm sorry, distributed through the universe. That's basically a numbed down version of how hydrogen turns into every particle. Yes, the base particle is hydrogen. Every other particle is just an arrangement of hydrogen due to stars clumping it together under heavy, heavy gravity. The more hydrogen you have in a star, the heavier the center is, and the heavier particles that you're going to have formed out of the hydrogen that are, due to supernovas, ejected through the rest of the universe. Got me? So, but that has to happen for Googleplex to the Googleplex years, so that there is a uniform amount of gold, carbon, hydrogen, and all these different elements distributed through the universe. So all these stars are supernova-ing, and then all of that's blasted out. So the universe goes out further and further and further. The universe goes out further and further as more and more stars clamp together after trillions of years, supernova explode and eject more stuff further and further and further. So as you get out further and further and further, and now I'm going to zoom in right here on that one. As you go out further and further and further, we're on the last explosion here. Finally, a star comes together. Let's make it bigger. A star comes together, and we've got a Mercury and a Venus and an Earth and a Mars, and then so on and so forth and so forth. And it just so happens, out right here, you've got this Earth in the habitable zone from the sun. So it's about it's about negative 100 to plus 300 degrees in this area, and we're right in the middle, and we are in the Goldilocks zone, so that life doesn't freeze and life doesn't ignite. And somehow, out of all those different planets all through this universe that seems almost infinite due to its huge scale, there are planets that have a good amount of a rocky there's a good amount of a molten core with a rocky exterior with water on the outside of it. Did you ever know, though, if you take the amount of water on the Earth and poured it on a golf ball, it would be less than a drop of water? Did you ever hear about that? It's insane how little water there is over the surface of the Earth due to the size of the Earth. Now, we're getting a little more complicated with my insane No Rules Sunday rant of the aquarium theory. This is my theory, patented by UNIRock. You're telling me that this planet, due to the innumerable multitudes of planets in the universe, there is one planet known as the Earth that has everything just perfect so that DNA can form and give instruction for a cell to reproduce itself. And due to, if you just like you left the universe unchecked with any destructive thing that destroyed the universe for Googleplexes of years, if you leave the Earth unchecked for 4 or 5 billion years with these circumstances, forces, and different elements unchecked, you are likely to get life forming into complex organisms that can think for themselves and realize and witness the observable universe around them. Now, what I've just explained to you is a very, very, very inaccurate and basic description of what we are taught is the evolution of our universe to produce intelligent life here on Earth. Problems, though, arise when you realize, remember that aquarium. You're telling me that both atheists and religious folk say to themselves that this is normal. To me, it seems like fate. You get me? So, like, I'm not saying Christianity's right. I'm not saying atheists are right. I'm saying, though, like, yeah, this does explain how it's possible for life to form, right? And us to be here thinking. But really, does it, though? You know? Have you ever heard about the problem with intelligent observers like us? The problem is, for evolution's sake, we don't need this much ability to think, and the way our brains are built, we're only using like 10% of our brain, right? None of it really makes sense. There's too many things that don't make sense. And I'm not saying it's not right, you know? What I'm trying to say is that this is kind of a fateful event, you know? Right? And instead of us saying that this is scientific, it's almost like a fairy tale. Now, I'm not saying that I believe that we just appeared here 2,000 years ago and a bunch of events happened and, you know, that I don't believe that either. I believe that there is a I think it's perfectly reasonable to state that science is getting things almost right. You know, they're like right on the money to some extent, but also that religious thinkers are right on the money to some extent too. Remember, at the base of the theory, I told you how atheists, scientists, and religious individuals, regardless of their denomination, they all kind of believe in the same thing. They believe that our universe is natural. The Big Bang happening, or let there be light, is like a natural occurrence. It just doesn't seem that way. I don't see how it could be. And it could be because I have a limited manner of thinking, of course, being a human being and not some godlike creature that can like think fast, and you know, I am limited by how much how much I've read in my life and studied and all that good stuff, right? And I'm limited by having a very short life of only like 30 some years. But in the end, though, I do think we all kind of, whether you're an atheist, whether you are whatever religion you are, I think we all put too many labels on things. And I think you could say, well, atheists don't. Well, they do. They're, like I said, they're considering this universe to be a natural universe, and it's not in any way, because natural is nothingness. So, you know, I think that what I think that what our society has done is normalize science when it shouldn't be normalized. Science should be considered exceptional, and so should religion. You get me? We have classified religion to the point where there's all kinds of different religions across the world, which is still a good thing. But still, instead of us all realizing that all religions rest upon a basic principle of us figuring out how we believe and cope with the reasons why we just appeared on the planet one day, and like we look back, can't remember being born, are kind of just like trying to reckon why all this goes on around us and why we live this day-to-day life every day when we sit and think about it, you know. All of that, religion trying to, religion's fighting with each other and people judging each other over how they deal with our existence seems fickle as hell. A lot of people act like they are more intelligent than someone else. Like an atheist, like, dude, I believe in science and I studied my whole life and I'm more intelligent than you. Not really, though, because have you ever seen like religious scholars? They do memorize some pretty thick books, and they memorize a lot of details, and they also learn math and all that stuff too. So really, everybody's just kind of doing the same thing. And everyone's kind of just arguing and classifying things and just getting crazy with it. And that's why I always say when it comes to religion, I don't know why it would ever be an argument. And that's why like flat earthers that believe the earth is flat because of a religion should never be included in a flat earth debate, because there's no bad reason for them to believe that, you know? Although science does show observable reasons for why we can all go do tests to show that, yes, stars do revolve in a way that shows we're on a globe, especially if you compare North to South Pole, which is possible to do if you just do it. And all the other things I've shown you tonight throughout this video, I think it all falls down to a lot of people basically assuming that they're really... What I want to say is, why can't, like... the way it should be, not why can't, the way it should be is that that when these guys get together, and I heard Aaron Raw debating Jeranism, wouldn't it be so perfect if Aaron Raw could tell Jeranism, like, dude, I am showing you an observable and real phenomenon, so like, can you accept it and let's all move on to figuring out things at a greater level? That'd be like the perfect response, wouldn't it? And some people might say, well, why aren't you telling Aaron Raw to believe Jaren the other way around? Well, because Jaren's not bringing any observable thing to the table, if you get me. When he does make his statements for why the earth is flat in his argument, there's no like observation that I can go do that reproduces Jaren's result. That's the major issue in this. Aaron Raw is telling you, yeah, when you drive down the road, you're going to see this mountain come in from the top down, which was only possible if it's coming over the horizon of a globe. And yes, if you are on the beach and you do zoom in on a boat, you will see it go over the curve. The only way you won't see it is if you go up higher than the beach. All these things are observable and true. You get me? But in the end, though, I think what we're doing is getting hung up on things that if we could just get along with are things that we could put behind us and move on to better things, even though that's kind of me being a little more like, I think I'm expecting too much out of people, because I do think it's fun and necessary to kind of correct misinformation. And I think that it's definitely happening when people sit down and do what Aaron and Jaren did. If both sides are willing to admit what is observably provable and what isn't, you know? And that's why in the beginning of this video, as much as I sympathize with Jaren, I sympathize with people that are taking things seriously and trying to move forward and not be stuck in a way of thinking. I do sympathize with Jaren, but because of glaring inaccuracies and his and him not being able, or not being willing, I should say, to accept observable things that he could prove to himself, that I have to side with the other side there. But you know, wouldn't it be awesome to be able to sit down and say that the earth is flat? Because I've said this the whole time, and I'm not trying to take this whole discussion back to a flat earth. I just finished explaining what I was trying to say there, as disconnected as the thought was. It would be so easy to be able to say we're on a flat earth. It'd be so good, because then you can make up your mind about what the universe is, and you can make up your mind about there being a God without having to make incredible realizations throughout your life to reckon how science does lead to realizing that a God does exist. And I think that's why our ancestors had it right. In the ancient texts, they, I think, had already looked at this concept that I just stated, that, yeah, you can argue that the Big Bang is what we evolved from, essentially, because that's what science is saying. But then again, how is the Big Bang disproving God when the scientists basically proved every creation story that's been put out there by admitting to the existence of the Big Bang? You get what I'm saying? I'll go to the live chat in a second, because I know I've just ranted my ever-loving ass off, and I apologize for ranting that much. So I'll stop ranting now, but let me make the last and final point that I always try to want to get to when I say this stuff, right? Science admitting that through all observable data that the Big Bang is a scientific real thing is basically science admitting that ancient texts stating that let there be light, or an entity creating a lot of things out of a nothingness, and that's basically the way they all described it in most all the books that I've read. Even the Egyptian creation tale sounds a lot like that. They just named the gods different things, and there's multiple gods. Go back further, they all kind of state it this way, that it was separated from nothingness and that an explosion of light happened. It's a Big Bang. Not saying that Christians are right. I don't think the Big Bang proves that Christians are right. I'm saying that most every religion states that matter came into existence in that way. But that was stated thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. It's almost like society goes through resets. You can see the minor resets go through society while we're alive, you know? You can see these minor cyclical cycles. You can see these minor cycles happening, right? Where, like, right now, we're back to the dark ages of political thought. Like, we were really far ahead in political thought in the late 90s and into the 2000s, but for some fucked up reason, we basically started completely over, and now it's like we're gonna have to push through another wave of PC culture to get people to admit, I shouldn't want to control you so much that I tell you what's funny, or I delete what I think isn't funny, or I determine what's right and what's wrong. We should be able to have people be funny and have their own brand of thoughts, funniness, and other things without censoring the hell out of them like we're experiencing now, which is why I think we're in another reset of society at that point. You get me? And I think, though, that you notice that the majority of society goes that way too, even if they're disconnected from each other. Because, you know, you go back to the time of Jesus and the New Testament, but why don't we just go back much further to the Old Testament and Genesis and say, like, holy shit, how would we ever reckon that Genesis itself, when it was first penned, whenever it was first penned, which was well before people admit it was, by the way, because we've got Sumerian stories and Egyptian stories that sound exactly like Genesis, and the flood story also sounds exactly like the stories from thousands and thousands and thousands of years before they're willing to admit that the flood story was written in the Bible. But anyway, society has figured this out a very long time ago, right? And the pyramids were built, the main pyramids were built well further back than what they're willing to admit. There's just too much scientific data to prove it. And like I was saying about the pyramids in South America, now follow me because I'm not going off topic. The pyramids in South America were built well longer ago than what they're willing to admit because they were buried in 12 feet of soil. You get me? The pyramids were buried in 12 feet of soil in South America. They're probably from 100,000 years ago, not 1,000 or 500 or whatever they say it is. My point is that these types of creation stories are from a very, very, very long time ago, and what we call unintelligent hunter-gatherers figured out the Big Bang back then. I think that also is a complete mystery, but people will say it's a conspiracy. I don't see how with that much scientific data, but let me round out my thought and be done, because I'm gonna rant again if I'm not freaking careful. In the end, how ironic or even how like miraculous is it that science in 2000, science in 1990 or 2000, through physics, calculations, and trigonometry and calculus and physics, basically, and through observations of space, you've got those things confirming the original creation epics of the most ancient religions now. But the media is too fast to say that that's just not the case. We have to ignore those ancient religions. We have to ignore those ancient texts. And now schools and the media doesn't teach it and show it. So I think, once again, if you really sit down and think about it, is the conspiracy that the Earth's flat? I don't think so. The real conspiracy kind of is like, through a lot of distractions, mainstream society ignores some of the greatest coincidences out there that should show everyone that, you know, if your ancestors 10,000 years ago could figure out the goddamn Big Bang in their religious texts, why is everybody arguing about the most basic shit right now? You know what I'm saying? You get me? Am I going too far with that? Is let there be light compared to the Big Bang, is that too much of a disconnect? Should I not do that? It's what I believe, at least. Anyway, let's go to the live chat. I'm sorry, I like going on tangents on Sunday, so if you don't like my tangents, you should not watch on Sunday. Let's go to the chat. I finished. I can't believe I finished that tangent. It was a long one. Well, thanks, Granny. Well, the thing is, He Hate Me said, I guess they're both creation stories. Kind of, right? You can say that, but the truth is, we can't see beyond the Big Bang, you know? We've only learned a lot about the Big Bang because of CERN and particle colliders. What they do, when they slam those particles together, they say it recreates matter as it was in the time of the Big Bang, but really that's only because it recreates heat that is similar to the heat at the beginning of the Big Bang. See, the more heat you produce inside of a particle collider, the closer you, the more in time you go back during the Big Bang to see how particles behave. See, particle science tells us a lot about the Big Bang and about early creation of our universe, because when a particle slams together, all these things fly in all these different ways. And these supercomputers that we have, they slam these particles together at low speeds and watch how all the particles fly around. Then they slam the particles together at higher and higher and higher speeds and look at the differences in particles flying around from there now to those energies, heats, and how they behave there. And from that, they can get more of a model of how matter behaves at those high energies equal to the Big Bang. So as they increase, now we are already at like, they've increased it to the heats from like 0.8 seconds after the Big Bang or some crazy shit like that. So as the heat goes up, as more energy is put into particle colliders, we will see how particles behave at 0.6 seconds into the Big Bang, 0.4, 0.3, and then God forbid, and we might already be down to like 0.1 by now. I haven't looked. I'm just giving a basic assertion right now. I know we're under a second. I at least think we are. But the crazy thing is, as science keeps going, we're going to get a more accurate representation of how particles behaved at the very creation of all matter. And I think essentially you could say particle colliders are trying to witness God, or trying to witness the creation of all matter, that singularity that exploded, right? Because all inside of you, there's enough empty space to collapse you down to, what is it, like the tiniest bit. You know, you could smash all the particles in your body together so small you wouldn't be able to see the dot that's left if you take out all empty space. There's that much empty space inside of matter. And that's what a singularity is. It's where you pull all the matter in the universe together into one dot, and it gets to like the size of a golf ball or some shit. So all of this out here collapses to the size of a golf ball. That's completely fucking insane. It's like a fractal inside a fractal inside a fractal inside a fractal, you know? And that's what dimensions are, really, at least in the realm of science or in the realm of physics. You can go down these different dimensions and go smaller and smaller down like a fractal thing. Yeah, you look at you now, but you can go in and start seeing pores, then you can go in and start seeing cells, then you can go in and start seeing atoms, then you can go in and start seeing the muons or whatever the fuck it's called that makes up atoms. You get me? But anyway, in the end, all I'm saying is, a lot of people will try to... Now, my argument that I just made, a lot of people are going to say, well, what it sounds like you said is that science is a religion just like religion. No, that's not what I'm saying. Science is based off of real observable phenomenon, okay, that can be reproduced by other people if they follow the same experiment and come to the same conclusion that the other people came to. So that's how you get facts. Hey, is that a brick over there? Well, let me take a look at it. That's a brick. What do you think, John? That's a brick. Okay, we've got a fact now. It's a brick, you know? What I'm saying here is science isn't a religion, and science isn't an excuse. Science is an ever-changing, because of more knowledge, because of more of the ability to learn more, it's an ever-changing observation of what's around us, you know? Now, the scary thing is, a lot of science does end up being proven wrong to some extent and having to be refined, and because of that, people stop trusting it and end up designating it as a religion. But it really is just people learning, you know? It's really just people learning that are gaining more knowledge or a better way to understand certain things, so they refine their science, redo the tests, come to different conclusions that were similar to the other ones, but a more refined conclusion that explains things in a better way, if you get my drift. So I don't think that makes it a religion. It's like religion is your excuse for how the matter exploded out of... Religion is the thing where you come up for a reason for how all that matter existed in the first place, okay? Religion's the thing that says the reason for the Big Bang, not a pulsating thing, but for however the Big Bang was initiated in the first place, the first one. Go back to the very beginning. Religion is your excuse for how everything came to be. Science is the observation, is a human observing and documenting what happened after that, okay? So I think you could say, like, is an atheist more believe that we are just a product of this universe? I would say yes. Whereas every person that believes in a religion that says that there's a creator or multiple creators believes that we are not from this universe. Now, personally, to take it one step further to explain why I'm not an atheist anymore, I have not felt like I am from this universe for the entire time I've lived in this motherfucking universe, if you get my drift. And I don't see many other living things really doing that well here in this universe, right? We're all destined to die to an extent. And I get that. I'm not saying that that's I shouldn't have said that. The other huge part to all this, okay? And this is like where I'm going to leave it at, and I promise. This isn't a rant, I promise. It will turn into a rant. It won't. I'm not going to let it, I promise. The other part is, if you have an aquarium or a universe, right? I always call it my aquarium theory. The other part of it is, if you don't have an intelligent observer. Now, an intelligent observer could be a tree. Well, that's not intelligent. Okay, fine. A squirrel, a fish. If you don't have something that can think for itself, that can actually think inside of a universe, that universe really just doesn't exist. It's just going to come into being and go without anything being there. So then you get into philosophical debates about life being a necessary thing for a mechanical universe. I don't like to prescribe to that thought, though, because what good is it to have an intelligent observer witness a universe if that intelligent observer, poof, just goes away and is left in that universe? But then again, it's a good argument, because you could say that that would make good sense for why life does exist inside these universes. For whatever reason. Maybe it's to document how we interact with each other. Maybe it's to document what goes on in the universe. God only knows. Now, I'm more inclined to think that intelligent observers are here to really interact with each other and document that. But that also leads to a more... that can lead into the debate between good and evil, if you get me. I know, I'm going off on tangents. For anyone here who's watching this video and saying to themselves, UNIRock is going off on a tangent, that's the whole point. I'm allowed to go on a tangent every 3 months on a No Rules Sunday, damn it. I have to get it out of my system so that my presentations are good. So that leads into the debate between good versus evil. You got the intelligent observer debate inside of a universe. You got to have an intelligent observer for a universe to even really exist, because if it doesn't have one, it just blinks in and out of existence in the blink of an eye. There's nothing there to witness it, think about it, make it worthwhile. Yes, there is. There's things happening there. Yeah, but what do you mean? Things are just happening there. Nothing will ever see it. Nothing will ever recognize it. Nothing will ever, well, what if something's outside looking in? There's an intelligent observer then, but then you're arguing about gods, right? Okay. Gotcha. But then that leads towards the debate between good and evil, if you get my drift. And now I swear I won't go into a debate because I'm getting bored and I want to play video games or something now. But what I'm saying is, you got intelligent observers, and we just said it would make sense then for intelligent observers to exist so that they can interact with each other. Why would they be interacting with each other, though, in a place where they have no clue what they're doing there? And that leads into religion, in my opinion. Let me say that again. So you've got intelligent observers inside of a universe, but really they're limited. They're on a planet. They can't leave the planet without dying or, having technology that's just super advanced that would take an exceptionally long time to make it. So you've got intelligent observers on a planet, locked in that planet, and they're all interacting with each other, and people would say, why? Why would that happen? Why would that even be a thing? And then you say to yourself, okay, that's the battle between good and evil. But the only way to test... And I'm not arguing religion right now. I'm just thinking philosophically, okay? You put random people inside of a universe, or inside of a planet, a universe, or whatever, and they're sitting there interacting with each other. you have to come to a thought process for why, and it all boils down to see if you can have people be inherently good, inherently bad, if good defeats evil, or if good doesn't. Are they just going to kill each other and eat each other? Are they going to get along and try to build something, you know? And that is the idea between a testing ground, if you get my point, right? So thinking on the intelligent observer theory with other intelligent observers around them to a maximum, going through all possibilities, the only logical possibility that exists is that if you wanted to test an intelligent being, you can't test the intelligent being if the intelligent being knows about the creator. Okay? So if I know how and why I exist, I'm always going to do the right thing. If I know there's a God who says, hey, if you kill somebody, I'm going to zap you and you're going to turn into dust and you're not going to exist anymore. You can live eternally, but the minute you kill somebody, I'm going to zap you. You're going to die. You're not going to ever kill anyone. Right? Right. For the most part, right? Unless you mess up. But then again, when you got that much pressure on you, someone you know is always watching. They'll know the minute you kill someone. You typically don't find people kill each other in that scenario. So what I'm saying is, you really want to test somebody, you got to erase their knowledge of a creator. You got to erase their knowledge of why they exist. Basically, drop them into an aquarium, the Earth, and let them interact with other people in a place where they're sitting there wondering, like, why am I here? Why am I here? If you really want to know how someone's going to behave, you got to take away their knowledge of the intelligent observer, or the knowledge of the God, the knowledge of, you know, you got to make them think. I mean, imagine a bunch of gerbils that are intelligent as fuck, and they know that you created them, and you tell them everything they're allowed to do and not to do, and they say, well, why? What if I do that thing you told me not to? Well, I'm going to smash your ass in 1 second. They're going to be like, okay, never doing that shit. You get me? So you can have you can have debates that will lead to the point where people say, well, it would make sense. You'd need an Earth to test people, to take them away from the creator, so that you can plop, like, let's say you're arguing with God. Let's say you know God, you're chilling with him, and he's like, yo, UNIRock. I'm like, yo, God, what's up, man? He's like, okay, are you a good person, UNIRock? And I'm like, yes, God, why? He's like, okay, would you kill someone? Would you steal stuff? Would you help your fellow man if they were in need? And I'd be like, well, yeah, duh. That's what you tell me to do. And he's all like, well, is that the only reason you do it? And then you're all like, yeah, God, duh. I don't do it because you tell me to. I do it because that's me. And then God says, prove it. So how do you prove it? God can't, like, say, okay, over there on that side of heaven, you know, you got to go over there and chill with, you got to live with them for a week. And I'm going to see if you steal anything or kill anyone. You're not going to steal anything or kill anyone, right? Unless you want to be obliterated. But what if God says, okay, so now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put you on Earth for a lifetime. I'm going to erase your memory. You're not going to know shit. You're not even going to know why you're there. You're going to be stuck on that mug looking up at the sky like, why am I here? And then we'll see if you want to steal anything or kill anyone when you have no idea that I'm looking over your shoulder the whole time. Now, that has been argued with me with other people for a long period of time, and I have to say that if I'm thinking logically, I do prescribe to that manner of thinking. Maybe not that we're here to be tested in that way, but that could be a really damn good excuse for why we would end up on Earth to be tested in the first place. But then there's the other argument where we are new souls, and in order for us to qualify to be immortals or to qualify to continue on to our existence, we cannot learn about the existence of God or the existence of why we're here until we've lived our lives and proved that we're worth it. That's why you've got billions of people on Earth, and they're all here, you know, new souls chilling on Earth. We are kind of new souls here on Earth, whether we want to admit it or not, even though some of us don't feel that way. And that's another huge argument, and I could talk about that for another fucking 5 hours, so I'm not going to go into it. But it is what I prescribe to. So I'll say this. Logically speaking, if you were to ask me, why do you think you're here on this earth? I would say I'm most likely here to be tested or to prove myself in some way to show that, yeah, even though I don't think there's someone looking over my shoulder or I can't confirm that someone is, to see if I will still be a good person, if I'll still help other people, be happy, make the best out of the situation. You get me? I would say that's most logically why we're here, if you were to ask me. Does that make it my religion though? Because I'm not sure. Most people that have a religion, they're pretty sure, right? But I'm not. You know? Although there is like an inherent conscience inside all of us. Some people will say, well, that's an evolutionary trait, right? Because if you don't have that, you're likely to die. You're likely to go around doing dumb shit, getting killed by other people and stuff. You probably evolved a conscience just so you could survive better. I don't believe that, though. I don't. Because you meet a lot of people that don't have it. And you meet a lot of people that if they grow up in a certain... There are certain people that if they grow up in a certain environment, they don't... In a lot of circumstances, you can tell that they're not going to have a conscience, or a very warped conscience, you know? There's exceptions to that rule, though. And that's why I got to shut up, because I'll keep talking about it forever. Well, thank you, Kathy. Kathy said that my tangents are very interesting. These are things I think about every day and night when I'm sitting around, or when I'm reading old ancient tomes, you know, like when I'm reading like one version of the Bible, or when I go read the Egyptian text, then I go read the Sumerian translations and shit, or the Vedas, or the Tao Te Ching, or whatever, you know. I'm sitting there thinking about it's all mulling around in my head while I'm doing it. Gaijin says, we are here to find God and learn to trust or deny the existence and choose to go it alone. When our time is up, we get exactly what we chose, just in some other form other than flesh. And you know what? You would have said that to me 10 years ago. I would have said, nah, we're just here to die and then, you know, rot in the ground and have our bones rot away or whatever. That's what I would have said 10 years ago. But now, after what I just described to you for the last like hour, I suppose, because I'm a very bad live streamer on Sundays. I'm very uninteresting, but what I just described to you in the last hour is basically the thought process that I took to a very massive extreme that converted me from an atheist that was so scientifically invested that I didn't believe in a creator to becoming a person who absolutely believes in a creator. And I find it absurd that I ever didn't believe in one, if you get my drift. So some people would say, you're just preaching religion to people. I'm not, because I don't have a single religious value, religious thing to say right now. Although I do have a religion, I do consider, out of all the religious texts I've read, I do believe in Jesus. I do believe in a savior and Christianity to the extent of what the Bible says. I don't have a preacher that tells me what it means. I don't have some person who says, this is what the Bible means. I've read it like 9 times, and I just understand it, and that's what I believe of it. You get me? But then again, I read the text that came before the Bible and other societies' texts, like, you know, the Vedas and the other texts, and I get a full picture of religion, I suppose I'd say. Now, some people would look at me and say, well, that makes you a heathen or something, but no, I don't think so, because most of my inherent values do rely on the Bible. So I am a Christian, I'll straight up say it, and I could sit and discuss Christianity with the best of them, you know what I'm saying? So, but I am at heart an atheist. Oh my God, how can I say that? It is true, though. When it comes to how I feel about this universe, sure, I get it. It seems that way, doesn't it? It seems like we kind of evolved here and formed into this, and that we just get to go have a nice rowdy romp until we hit the ground, you know? But I would say that if you do think that, it's just my advice. I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. It's my advice that you read all of the ancient texts. Because it's only through massive coincidences, and that's why my main YouTube channel focuses on coincidences. If you've never watched my main YouTube channel, it's video after video after video about coincidences. But through coincidences that I've seen in all the ancient books, in life, in like things like I just described, that's what took me from being an atheist to a believer, if you get my drift. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Let's do something else. Because I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
Why is it there? It's because we are here. Flex.
Now, this statement in this video is very entertaining. Excuse me. This is a very entertaining video from a dude named Puckett Word. On the flat earth, sun reflections are flat and straight to you! Exclamation point. Reflections only exist because you're looking as an observer. Clouds at sunset are not lit on the underside. Yes, what? Well, no shit, Sherlock. Because the sun's way, way far back. Yeah, you got the sun. You got the earth, like, bink. No, that's not even accurate. Let me do this. You got the sun. Oh, let me put it all the way over here. You got the sun. And you got the earth. Pink. Okay. And you've got the sun ejecting enormous light that we can't even fathom how bright it is. It's so bright, if you were like, what, 1,000, 10,000 miles away from the sun, you would fucking instantly evaporate. It's ejecting light. It's such force. Straight out in all directions. That if you zoom in on that, so let's zoom in. And then you've got light. Instead of light looking like it does there, this is what light looks like instead. It's coming straight in for like this at us. And let's zoom again at this ball. So we've now zoomed into one tiny little part of it, and then the clouds would be right here. Let's put the clouds like right here. That's literally what the clouds would look like on top of the earth from this zoom. And you've got light coming in like this. Why would you see the base of the cloud light up? You get me? I don't get... See, this is the thing that just drives me crazy about flat earth. They won't even admit that everything they say is explained in the globe model, with the addition of explaining a million other things that their model doesn't explain. That's why we don't believe in the flat earth.
Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. You see that reflection of the sun on the water there? Why is it there?
So you'd say if the sun was a thing that floated above the earth, okay? If the earth was a disc, like this dude's obviously saying, or a flat, and the sun went like this over it, like, you know, the flat earthers do, you wouldn't see the sun look like that on a sunset. The sun wouldn't go below the horizon. It would always be above the fucking horizon, dude. I don't even understand how they can argue this.
It's because we are here looking at it.
So let's hear his actual... Let's, like, really focus on Puckett's words. Let's really focus on Puckett's words. So take a look at these words as they pop up.
Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. You see that reflection of the sun on the...
Do you see the reflection of the sun on the water? Got it.
Water there? Why is it there?
Why is it there? Okay, check.
Because we are here looking at it.
Okay, duh.
If I move, it follows me.
Yep, just like it would if it was 93 million miles away and you were on a globe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's only one reason there's a reflection. Because we're looking.
Now hold on. Hold up. Wherever you would go on the surface of... See, here's my problem with this thing. Did this guy even think at all about the fact that when you have a person... This is another reason why I don't believe the flat earth, just so you know. You've... Oh, what the hell, dude? Busy? I thought you fixed the problem with the green screen, mister. Oh, you redid the problem. You just redo problems, huh? That's how you do it? That makes sense. Okay. Busy does not believe in the flat earth, by the way. He believes in pita bread. He believes in flatbread. It doesn't make sense, Busy. I'm not explaining it to him. God! Okay. If you didn't know, my assistant is a piece of bread. So here's the earth. So if you've got somebody right there with a camera, and you got somebody right there with a camera, and somebody right there, and 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 right there. And yes, this has been proven. And you tell all of them at the, let's call them all up in a conference call. Ready, set, start your live stream. And they all go outside and start their live stream and point their freaking live stream cameras at the sun. Guess where all of their cameras point? Way out there. There have been several globe enthusiasts, I suppose, that have proven this by having 3 people, 4 people, 2 people, you know, record and live stream at the same time to show this. How does this reckon on the flat earth? So the sun is, by the globe earth model, is supposed to be 93 million miles right here. And all the people on these points see the sun right here. Now, if this was what they're saying, which is this, and you've got North America, South America, Africa, Eurasia, right here. And let's say they say the sun goes like that, right? That's what they say. And then in the middle is like the North Pole, and then out here's the Antarctica. So they say that the sun is like this, and it circles like this. So let's say you had somebody there, 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 and there, all point towards the sun. Why is it that instead of them all pointing in the direction of, you know, let's say you have this person in that direction, and that direction, and that direction, and that direction, and that's not what we see. We see all of them not doing that. Testably, we see all of them pointing towards an object that is 93 million miles that way. They all point this way. See, this is another reason why I don't believe in the flat earth, and I think it's something that Mr. Puckett Word didn't bother to look up before he did this video.
Yeah. It follows you. Why does it follow you?
Careful, John. If you say it's a pizza diagram, there'll be a lot of pizza YouTubers that get mad at me. All right, Dodge. Thanks, man.
If someone else is looking at the sunset now, they will see a reflection heading towards them. It could be
not true. No. Well, sure. Wherever you are on the earth, they will, unless they're on the globe and they're on the other side and they can't see the damn thing. Or if they're on North America and South America. You know, this is the thing that I don't get. Wolfie just proved this on his channel. Wolfie6020 just did a video where he used the Flat Earth app to show that the Flat Earth app, which showed their model and the time of the day and where the sun is, was completely wrong wherever he went. Because he's a pilot, so he could fly these different places and test the Flat Earth app. So you could type in the Flat Earth app if you want. App map, I guess. And, well, you could just go to Wolfie's channel, because I guess a bunch of people talked about it. But I'm not going to pull it up anyway. But you can see how Wolfie proved that their Flat Earth app on the iPad isn't even correct in Australia or anywhere else. So that's the point I try to make. I got to shut up about Flat Earth. Whoa, what's this? Richie from Boston, hybrid snake? 7 hours ago? What?
So this is called...
This is another one of those channels that does not turn up their volume.
This is called the snake. And think of it in terms of immigration. And you may love it, or you may say, isn't that terrible, okay? And if you say, isn't that terrible, who cares? Because the way they treat me, that's peanuts compared to the way they treat me. Okay? To work one morning.
For the love of the true gods, please will you wake your stupid selves up? This guy is not what he appears.
Saw a poor, his
They are all over YouTube lying to humans, pretending to be on the side of truth, when in reality they are the complete opposite.
Pretty colored skin had been...
Well, what's that? What's his mouth shape have to do with what he says, though? You're highly prejudiced against disabled people, Mr. Divine Truth One.
Frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried.
Wait, what are we looking at? What is this shit? Come play Siege or Blackout, man. Yes, let's do it now. You ready? Creamy? I want Blackout now, man. I messaged you earlier. I want to play some Blackout. I'm going to stream it on my Chan. Let's do it. I'm out of here, guys. I know I ranted a lot, and I know it was a crazy stream, but if you stop this show right when I started ranting, it was a really good video about these different videos that are out right now. And Kev Baker submitted more stuff about that whole thing with the multi-channel network and Richie from Boston. I'm going to be looking into that really deep to see what the hell is going on there, because there's something up with Richie. And I think these people doing reptilian snake videos, hey, booshk, thank you. These people out there doing the reptilian snake videos about him, that's not, come on now, get off it. We need to talk about the info he's putting out and how it's misleading people, not that shiz. I'll be right back, but I'm warning you, I'm going to be streaming video games and chilling for the rest of the night. So if you don't like that stuff, don't watch it. Don't worry, I won't be saving the video game streams to the channel. I'll only be pulling clips from him if I want to clip it out. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. You rock. If you really like my stuff, consider a PayPal donation. It would really help us out right now. www.paypal.me/UNIRock. I'm not kidding. It would help me out immensely. Never donate to any YouTuber, though, if you can't get by yourself and still save money at the end of the month. You got to take care of you before you try to take care of any of us. Not just me, any of us. Please join the channel if you like my work. Joining the channel provides a constant source of ad revenue. It's a very small amount per person. If I have enough people that join my channel, I don't have to worry about ad revenue anymore. Same with Patreon. Consider each. Thank you guys. I love you. I'll be back in just a few minutes to stream, watch videos, hang with Creamstar, and just try to have a good old-fashioned end of the day Sunday. Hey, hey, hey. See you soon. Thanks, guys. You rock. Well, you want to do a live flat earth debate, caveman? You don't even have to pay me, but I would appreciate it if you did. If you want to donate, I'd love it, but you don't have to pay me to debate me. Because in January, I should have announced this. I don't know why I didn't. In January, I'm doing a series of videos where I try to find people who disagree with me on certain subjects like Q, Pizzagate, Flat Earth, and several other things. And I don't want to debate you because I think debates are too formal and people argue. What I want to do is try to have, at least by the end of a discussion, me understand why you believe what you believe and you understand why I believe what I believe by discussing the one thing per show with each other. What I mean is I don't want to start like a flat earth discussion and then have it mold into like Pizzagate or Q or something. But I don't believe in flat earth. I do not believe, I believe that, I know that there's an overarching problem with pedophilia in the world, but I don't believe in Pizzagate as the conspiracy theory that the YouTubers have produced, the majority of the popular ones. And I don't believe anything about Q. I think that Q is just some dude on 8chan LARPing a bunch of people and laughing his ass off every day anytime anyone buys a single thing that he says. But if you'd like to, just email me, UNIRocktv@gmail.com. But make sure if you're emailing me that you're being professional. You know, I'm not gonna, if you're gonna troll and shit like that, I'm just gonna end it out. So, and make sure that, you know, you do have an interest of trying to understand me, because I definitely am going to have an interest of trying to understand you. And it's going to be like a positive discussion, not an argument or anything like that. But if you're interested, email me. If you want to debate, I'll tell you what. Or, I'm sorry, if you want to donate, I meant, and if you donate, I will just guarantee that you're the person who I choose for the flat earth one, the first flat earth one, because we might have multiple. So let me know, man. You don't, like I said, you don't have to donate, but it would be much appreciated. All right, I'm out. wait a minute. I forgot about Chris. He's got music, right? I got him right here. Hey, I keep my word around here. So let's play one of Chris's. Chris said I could play it. I'm going to play a small clip as we roll out. Okay. I'm already digging it. I'm subbing.
You think you're bad in your camel gear? Well, little man, let me whisper in your ear.
Nice shit, man. I'll check out the rest of it. That was Chris. He's in the chat now. Check out his channel. I'm Outie 5000.
Where is your God now?